Hello, welcome to WCBN Sports as we prepare to present you an upcoming game between Michigan Wolverines and the Maryland Terrapins. This is Game 2 in this weekend series, final road trip of the regular season for the Michigan Wolverines, looking to end the season after a recent slide. Last night, Owen could speak to this broadcasting it, but it was a tough loss, fighting back from a huge deficit early and then unable to finish, losing by 1 run in the end. How are you doing today, Owen?
I'm good, Adam. How are you?
I am a little bit disappointed about the weather. It's been so nice all week, and now it's cloudy and a little bit cold. But other than that, happy to be broadcasting. Michigan baseball has certainly been a fun team to watch this year. A lot of potential, especially on the offensive side. A little bit less certain in the bullpen department, but I'm excited for this one as Michigan looks to even this series up in Game 2 of the weekend road trip at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium here in College Park, Maryland.
I like that name, Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. And I love the Terrapins as a mascot, too.
There's so many just like Wildcats and Tigers. Seems like a quarter of the SEC is Tigers.
Yeah.
Like Terrapins, you won't find another Terrapin in college, high school, middle school, even Little League. I don't think there's very many Terrapins.
No. People don't go with the Turtles often, and that's one of the reasons I love Maryland. I've always had an affinity towards this school, from a distance, of course. Michigan fan all the way, but, you know, something in me roots for Maryland on the side.
Yeah, I grew up in Washington itself, so I know quite a few students at University of Maryland. It is a very popular destination for the area, and it's been even more fun since they joined the Big Ten a couple years back, having Michigan come to town in a variety of sports, and football every 2 years, basketball like 3 times every 5 years or whatever it is. It's been a lot of fun to have Maryland in the Big Ten fold, and especially with so many D.C. Michigan alumni in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, too.
Absolutely. And a tough loss, 8-7 last night. The Wolverines down 7-0 at one moment, 7-1 eventually. And they just lost that one in the very end. We are underway now at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium.
First pitch from Ryan Ramsey is going to be a little bit low for ball 1. We got Clark Elliott leading off. He's been the leadoff hitter most of this season. Second pitch fires in, misses a little bit inside. Going to be a 2-0 count to start off this game.
And Elliott's one of those batters to watch who just does a fantastic job in the box. He really will make the pitcher work for those strikes.
2-0 pitch is in, and it's in for a ball. 3-0 count. Bat has not even left his shoulder yet for Clark Elliott. Danger on the base path. He has 11 stolen bases this season. Wind up and the pitch. This one's going to be inside just barely for a called strike. 3-1 count. Clark Elliott certainly a leadoff hitter in his base running ability, but also he could get on base too. 351 average. It's a team high coming into this one. Pitches in. This one's going to be a foul tip. 3-2 count as Elliott is quickly on the ropes after 3 straight balls to lead this one off.
And we'll see Elliott start to protect the box here. Look for him to foul off a few.
It's in, and that's going to be ball 4. Michigan gets its first base runner for the first batter. Coming up, Joe Stewart. He has had a phenomenal season this year. I think even beyond many expectations, possibly even his own expectations as a transfer student. Coming in from across state, too. I'm sure there's some bad blood there. Michigan plays his former team in Michigan State later this week in the stretch for Ramsey. Wind up pitch. That one's going to be low and quickly stealing, and that's not even going to get a throw. Elliott is safe into second.
Elliott has a lot of speed behind him. I mentioned earlier he might foul a few off, didn't need to. Next pitch he saw was a ball. And off of that, a quick start to the game for the Wolverines, much hotter than we saw last night, where they went 1-2-3 in the first inning. So Elliott with himself a lead on second, and of course Stewart in his strong bat at the plate.
Leg lift and the pitch. This one's fired in for a called strike. Going to be 1-1. Bat didn't even twitch off his shoulder there. Stewart getting comfortable in the box. Midway through the season, he went on quite a surge, hitting for some power. 9 on the season so far. Looking back towards second base, here's the pitch. This one's going to be a little bit inside for ball 2. Elliott, like many great base runners and leadoff hitters, when he's on the base path, he gets in the pitcher's head. He's done this all season, all career. And that's one of the unwritten skills. Not in the stat sheet, but it certainly makes a difference. Jumping around, and this gets him to step off. Diving back, no throw, but it is keeping him honest. A little bit of question if he balked or not on that one. No call. Going to be a 2-1 count here. Checking in for Stewart. 0 outs, 2-1 count. Still dancing on the base path. Wind up and the pitch. That was going to be low and outside.
We're going to count to 3-1, and Ryan Ramsey so far struggling to paint the corners and hit his marks in the strike zone.
Ramsey, 9 wins and no losses to his record coming into this game. One of the most dominant players in the Big Ten. Big pitch, 3-1. Looking back towards second. Leg lift and the throw. This is going to be low and outside. 2 straight walks to set up this game. And I know this is going to go on the record for Stewart, obviously, but you got to give some credit, even just participatory, to Elliott at second base. His dancing and movement on the base path certainly got in the pitcher's head.
Oh, absolutely. Jake Singer once again joining us here for the Daily. Just informed me that Ramsey actually threw a perfect game at one point this season.
I remember that headlines. I forgot that that was this season, though.
So Ramsey already with 2 walks to his name, no outs. Runners on first and second.
We got Elliott Sealing, throw down to third. He'll come in safe, beat it by a second. Called ball, and Elliott goes to third, and we got Stewart at second. Elliott already 2 stolen bases, make that 15 on the season.
And Nick LaRusso, the third baseman for the Terrapins, good job laying the tag. Luke Schliger behind the plate for the Terrapins today as he was last night. His throw was a little high. So LaRusso brought that one down in windmill fashion. He almost got Elliott, but Elliott's speed was a bit too much for him.
Wind up in the pitch, 1-0 count. This one comes in high, ball 2. We got Fry up at the plate, 282 batting average, the lefty. And just like that, we already got a mound visit coming on in. It makes sense. It looks like he's on his way to his 3rd straight walk.
2-0 count. Can't expect anything different at the moment. The Terrapins will come on out to the plate. We'll have some, I guess, instrumental dance monkey here in the stadium. And the Wolverines with runners in first, the second and third in a fantastic scoring position and looking to strike first. Of course, last night the Terrapins put 2 on the board, 2 solo home runs in the first inning. Those coming off the bats of Nick LaRusso and Matt Shaw, respectively, just crushed out to center field. And, one of the things Michigan has to come into this game thinking is there is no doubt that Maryland will put runs on the board eventually. They are a strong team offensively. They've got good bats, and they'll swing away. So Michigan has to strike, and if they strike early, they've got a much better chance of winning this game than they did last night.
Michigan does have this offensive potential, though. Not out of the question to expect that. We saw last night even coming back from that deficit.
Oh, that was fun to watch, and what a fun call.
So it's going to be 2-0 count. Mound visit ends. Leg lift fires into the plate, and that's going to be a called strike. 2-1 here for Fry. No outs. Runners on second and third. No hits either. It's all been walks and stolen bases.
That's somewhere the Wolverines thrive, especially the top of the lineup. Great ability to see the strike zone.
Oh, absolutely. This ball is going to come in low and inside for a 3-1 count. And Ramsey is dangerously close to walking the 3rd straight batter of this game to load the bases. Checking into the dugout. Gets set. Lifts the leg. Throws. And that's going to be a called strike Fry was already a couple steps towards first before the call was recorded. You see that quite often from these umpires, too.
Oh, yeah.
With the delayed second strike or whatever.
That doesn't put you in good standing with the ump.
Absolutely not. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a ball just low and inside.
That one missed, and, it's a good thing you didn't say anything to the ump last time because, of course, that could sway the decisions, especially at the collegiate and high school level.
Yeah.
And that one that just barely missed, of course, for those who weren't listening to our coverage yesterday, the press box down the first base line here, it's a little hard to see when we're missing. We got a much better vantage point for height of the ball. So, of course, we won't always be on top of its location, but right now the Wolverines' base is loaded in fantastic scoring position as Jimmy Overtop steps up.
Overtop, the slugger hitter. He has a .431 this season slugging percentage. Pitch one is in for a ball. So already quite a few balls for the pitcher. 3 walks and then a 1-0 count here for the cleanup hitter. Trying to get back in the groove for Ramsey. Leg lift, 1-0. This one is driven deep into right center. Going to find some real estate on the warning track. One comes in. Rounding third is 2, and that'll score 2 in the first inning as we got a stand-up double for Obertop, and he got the dugout pumped in the many Michigan fans in attendance.
Clark Elliott makes it in no time. Joe Stewart, using his speed, makes it from second. That gapper coming in from Jimmy Obertop was fielded by center fielder Chris Aline. He made the throw in, and he's got himself an arm, but not in time before the Wolverines score 2 and strike first on the board here in College Park.
You mentioned the key to the game is Michigan needs offense early, especially against this hot Terrapins team. And so far they're doing what they need. 3 walks and 2 runs with no outs here in the top of the first. And that's the first hit. It's a double from Obertop for 2 RBIs. And that was beautifully placed, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Wind up and a pitch. Swing and a miss for Flores, the DH batting 5th in today's game. Seen Flores bat both DH and play outfield this season. Stepping out for a moment to get composed in the 0-1 count. I believe that's the first time the pitcher has had a pitcher count this game.
I think so.
Starting off with a ball in every at-bat up to this moment. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 2. I feel like Flores is trying to follow up on that blast from Obertop earlier.
Not proving as successful so far. Down 0-2 in the count.
Trying to see, I don't see any feet markers on the fence. I don't know quite how far the outfield wall is.
Yeah, I didn't find any yesterday. It was unfortunate.
Maybe in between innings we'll look online. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 whiffs, and that'll record the first out of the game as Ryan Ramsey gets some much-needed relief, but still 2 runners in scoring position here. So we got Bertram stepping up to the plate.
So we'll see if Bertram goes down as Flores did. Has Ryan Ramsey, of course, a star pitcher for the Terrapins, found his stride. Was that a one-off strikeout? The Wolverines with 2 on base only need a base hit, a gap, or perhaps into the outfield like we saw from Obertop to score the other 2 to make this a 4-0 game.
Wind up and the pitch. That one's going to be a little bit outside for ball 1. So after a 3-pitch strikeout, all of them swinging, back to throwing balls for Ryan Ramsey. I wonder if Flores may have been less eager. He might have gotten on first base just based on how Ramsey has been pitching so far today. All 3 pitches were swung at and missed. Getting set. Leg lift, and that one's awfully high right at the helmet level for ball 2. Check the swing. Didn't even bring it around by the catchers, so not even close. And it's going to be a 2-0 count here in the top of the first inning with 1 out. For those just tuning in, it's been a great start for the Wolverines. 2 runs off 1 hit and 3 walks. Leg lift, pitch. That one's going to be low, but called strike right at the kneecaps.
Schlager did a good job framing that one in for strike one. I'm not buying that. That didn't look like it hit its mark.
Yeah, and I wonder if sometimes the umpires, after a lot of walks, I don't know if at this level, but definitely in high school and Little League, they get a little bit more favorable to show some mercy to a pitcher.
Even in college.
Leg lift. Here's a pitch, and he's stealing home. Stop midway, and he'll be tagged out. Wow, gutsy play. Not sure what Obertop was doing, but that'll be a strike 2 and a tag out. One upside is, that was Fry who got tagged out, but Obertop goes to third.
So my guess is, Riley Bertram showed bunt. He attempted to bunt. He just missed the ball. The catcher caught it cleanly. So I think that they were trying to do a bunt and score, a quick bunt and run.
Sack squeeze. It's awfully interesting play call when your team is looking this good early in the game. Pitches in, and this is a dribbler to the pitcher. Scoops it up, underhand toss over to first base, and that'll retire the side. Is it just me or Michigan left a lot of runs on the table that inning?
I think Michigan you know what, they tried something new, and I like to see it, but against the 17th best team in the country, you might want to stick to your standard baseball because it worked so far. You had 1 out, 2 runners on. Instead, in the matter of seconds, you leave 2 stranded and leave 2 runs on the table. That's just unfortunate play calling for the Wolverines, especially against a high-scoring team like Maryland.
So after that inning, we have 2 runs scored by the Wolverines, 1 hit, no errors, and only 1 runner left on base. Michigan definitely had some opportunities to get more that they were unable to capitalize on. First, we had the 3-pitch strikeout from Flores, and then the attempted, sacrifice squeeze at the end there that completely whiffed on both the bunt and the run. And Fry held up midway in the base path, too. Once he saw that the bunt did not make contact, he just stuck it in the middle of the base path. I think at that point, commit and just try and get in there.
Yeah, he froze up there.
Yeah.
Tough base running, but also the one thing you can't do in a sacrifice squeeze and a hit and run, no matter what the situation is not make contact with the ball.
At the very least, even if it's like a foul tip, that's better than that, because that's what happens. It turned a 2-1 count with 2 runners on and 1 out into a 2-2 count with only 1 runner on and 2 out. So quick reversal, and that stopped all the momentum Michigan had. That was a real gift for the pitcher for Maryland, because he was having a lot of trouble finding that strike zone.
Ryan Ramsey is counting his blessings right now in the bullpen. We'll see how he comes back out. Maybe he'll take some time, refocus, throw more strikes, because the last inning we just did not see a pitcher who throws strikes. That was not a pitcher who has pitched a perfect game this season.
So coming up, this next inning we got Schliger, leadoff batter, followed by Alene, and then LaRusso. And LaRusso, you were telling me, had a big blast yesterday.
Both LaRusso and Matt Shaw they just crushed the ball. LaRusso's over the center field wall.
Schliger in the plate. Pitch 1 is in. It's going to be a little bit high. 1-0 count. Schliger standing back in the batter's box as the second pitch comes in, and that's going to be low and inside for ball 2. Guess the trouble finding the strike zone is affecting both teams so far tonight. Leg lift and the pitch on 2-0 count. This one's going to be high. Missing every area of the strike zone. First one outside, second one low, this one high. Going to be a 3-0 count. Wind up and the pitch. Ball 4. Bat doesn't even leave his shoulder for Schliger, and we got a base runner early for Maryland.
So Jake Keyser, unable to hit his marks, will walk the first batter in 4 pitches. Of course, Keyser is a bullpen guy for the Wolverines. They're still running, as they did last night, this reverse play where they start with someone who might typically be seen as a reliever or a closer, and instead they started the Wolverines trying new things. It almost worked out for them last night. You'd expect to see Keyser pulled after about 1 or 2 rotations through this lineup today.
First pitch is in, and that hits his foot. Alene will take first base. He quickly shook that off. That didn't have much speed on it either. 2 early base runners on 5 pitches.
Yeah, Lean doesn't seem hurt much at all. But now, Michigan will take a timeout to the mound. It looks like they might even make a call to the bullpen.
That will be very fascinating with a pitching change this early, but sometimes you could tell. It looks like Dinner's coming in. He's been mostly a late game reliever, so it's interesting to see him coming in practically as a starter at this point. Starter with 2 runs attributed to Keyser. Yep. And this will do it. Come in all the way to the dugout. 5 pitches, not a single strike, 4 straight balls, and then a pitch right off Aleem's foot.
Yeah, now Keyser, you got to feel bad for him. First 5 pitches were all balls. We saw essentially the same thing from Ryan Ramsey. It's just unfortunate that Keyser's 5th pitch happens to hit Chris Aleem in the foot. That officially ends his day. Didn't even get a chance to really get his arm warm here.
Yeah.
Wolverines don't want to risk it. You know that against a team as good as Maryland, if you put runners on base, they have a very high chance of scoring. This is not a team that leaves runners stranded. With first and second, somehow, whether it's stealing, perhaps a lucky pass ball, hit and run, they'll move these batters around with no outs right now.
Yeah.
So it's really going to come down to Jacob Denner's performance on the mound right now to see if they can hold the Terrapins and maintain that 2-0 lead as we exit the first inning.
Dinner certainly has an interesting box sheet. Has a 6.31 ERA, so less than ideal, but his whip is quite decent with a 161. So 3-5 on the season. As I mentioned, he often comes in for relief. 2 saves, however, too, so he could do it all. This is a very interesting move to get a pitching change this early. Usually you only see this if there's like some injury present or something.
Yeah.
But I guess Coach Bakic just didn't like what he saw from the first 5 pitches and had to pull the plug early.
It must just be, yeah. They're not willing to risk something. Wins against Maryland really mean something, especially as they look towards the Big Ten tournament and even the possibility of the NCAA tournament. So a win against Maryland is a huge deal. Coming up just short last night, devastating for this program. So tonight, not going to take any chances. We'll see how Denner performs on the mound with his first batter.
LaRusso in the batter's box. Denner gets set but then pulls off to look towards second. We got runners on first and second after the walk and then hit by pitch. It's LaRusso, the home run hitter from yesterday, quickly strikes. This one goes foul for strike number 1. Denner trying to get the Michigan ship under control here. LaRusso, 325 on the season. Here's a windup and the pitch. Grounder to short, scoops it up, tags second and throws. So that'll do it for 2 outs. Runner goes to third, however, Schliger. But Michigan gets some much-needed defensive support and quickly gets his first inning under control after 2 base runners with no outs.
What a break for the Wolverines there. After walking 2, or rather walking 1, hitting 1, just 5 pitches, Jacob Denner might have gotten this team under control, and we'll see how he holds Matt Shaw.
So Shaw also had a home run yesterday, steps up to the plate. First one's a swing and a miss. Schliger's just 90 feet away from bringing this to a 1-run ball game with 2 outs here, and Denner able to get some defensive support from Riley Bertram. That one's low to make it 1-1. Denner taking his time to stare down the catcher. Looking in, leg lift and the pitch. Check swing, did he go? They say he did at first base.
Good call there from Jimmy Overtop behind the plate, quickly looking down the first base line.
It's like the intangibles, the framing, the pointing.
Mm-hmm.
Not anyone could do that. It takes a lot of skill.
Overtop, very reliable behind Michigan's
absolutely.
plate, always.
1-2 count, and that one comes in high. Going to even it up at 2-2 with 2 outs here. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Michigan leading 2-0 with a runner on third base. Wind up and the pitch. This one just barely outside. Took some time.
Oh, and Obertop tried to frame that one well. He held it for a moment. The ump's not going to go for it. Bring us to a full count here.
I think Shaw may have thought that that would have been it for his at-bat, too.
He looked nervous for a moment.
Very nervous. Full count, wind up, pitch. Dribbler down the first base line, drifts foul. Going to live to fight another pitch.
The swing there from Shaw on a pitch that might not necessarily have been a strike, but at a full count, you need to protect until you surely see one that is going to miss the strike zone. Last thing you can do with a runner on third is go down looking.
Oh, yeah, you always want to attack, especially 90 feet away. Leg lift, here's a pitch. Rung him up looking, strike 3. He's out of there. Michigan able to come out of the bottom of the first without surrendering any runs. No hits with a 1 runner left on base and no runs scored. At the end of the first, Michigan leads 2-0 over the Terrapins.
I think the only way you could describe that inning is Michigan escapes unscathed.
Yeah.
They put themselves in a dangerous position, and I'd say, frankly, it started in the top of the first. The Wolverines, with some poor decisions. I don't think that's coming from the base runners. I think that's from leadership here on this team. Just a poor play decision. The bunt is missed. I believe it's Fry coming home, tagged out, attempting to steal home on a quick squeeze there. So the Wolverines leave 2 stranded on base, but now they can hold the Terrapins off, see if they can score any more. Leading off this inning will be Ted Burton, 7th in the lineup. So if no success here, at least we'll be back to the top of the first and the top of the third.
Yes, and in between the inning, let's take a look around the Big Ten at the standings. Rutgers lead. They're having the best year in program history. They're 39-12 overall, so the same number of wins as Maryland, but 2 extra losses due to a better in-conference record. They're playing just as, they are ranked higher with 16 wins over Maryland's 14 in the Big Ten. But both are neck and neck for the title. Followed, Maryland is Iowa, who Michigan played early in this season. Then Illinois, Penn State, and then Michigan. Michigan was competing for the 4 spot, but after a recent skid, have fallen down 1 game over 500 in conference. Certainly a tough end to the season, playing Maryland on the road and then Rutgers at home. But we return to the game. Pitch is in, and that'll be a ball for Burton. Ryan Ramsey trying to forget about that first inning. He's probably happy to only get 2 runs given up. 1-0 count. Here's a pitch. Swing, and that changeup got him fooled. 1-1 count here for Burton.
So Ramsey looking a little more like in his usual form today, hitting his marks.
Pitches in, and this is tipped foul into behind the grandstands. It's a very antique ballpark here. Not a huge grandstand. Exposed brick. Kind of reminds me of Camden, which is fitting for the Terrapins, just 40 minutes outside of Baltimore. This one is sent high and deep into center left on the warning track, getting back, and that's over the fence. Home run for Burton. Michigan extends their lead. 3-0 Wolverines.
What a slam there. Bobby Zmalzak, the left fielder for the Terrapins, leaping at it, and he had his arm over the wall by a few feet, so that one must have cleared well. And Burton, known for the power he puts behind that swing, he just launched that one out of here. And it really, the angle it took wasn't even the most direct. That one went up before it went out.
No.
So he had some power behind that swing.
Got a lot of lift. Barely cleared the fence, but it had the right angle, so they were tough to catch. And with that, we have Marty stepping up to the plate. So Michigan adds 1 to their lead and is already rolling off of Ryan Ramsey. Pitch 1 is in for a strike swinging. Leg lift and the throw. Strike 2, swing and a miss.
Ramsey recovering well from the home run.
Stepping out of the box for a moment, Marty. Here's the pitch. This one's dribbled over to shortstop. Shaw picks it up, throws it over to first, and that'll do it for the first out.
Of course, one out comes. The Wolverines have already put one on the board. That'll bring up Jordan Rogers, who's back in left tonight. We didn't see him in the lineup yesterday, however. I believe he did make an appearance as a pitch runner late in the game. Rogers out in left. He's been a little shaky behind the plate, or at the plate, rather, batting .175 so far this season.
Here's the pitch, and we got a bunt shown and fouled off down the first base line. It felt like he was a couple steps already towards first when he made contact with that one. Going to be a 0-1 count. Rogers batting .175. Outside of Marty, it's the lowest in the batting lineup today. Second pitch is in for a ball. A little bit inside, it looks like. 1-1, here's the pitch. And that's going to be a called strike down the middle. 1-2 count.
Rogers knew the moment that passed that it was a strike. He looked to the ump as if he was just awaiting the call. Now down 1-2 in the count.
Leg lift and the pitch. This one's a laser beam right up the middle. Scooped up by Shaw, thrown to first, 4 to the second out. We had the pitcher, Ramsey. He slowed it down with his glove, unable to field it, but that was enough to allow Shaw to scoop it up and get it over to first in time. We got an all-turf diamond here, so especially after it raining pretty much all day, these grounders could be rockets, and Maryland's lucky to get it out off of that one as we got the top of the lineup coming up to the plate.
Oh, absolutely. And Shaw, he's got some power behind the bat. We saw yesterday, great infielder.
Pitch one is in to Elliott. Going to be a called strike. 0-1 count. So it looks like Ramsey, it took one rotation through the lineup to finally get his groove. Pitch two is in. Going to be low and inside. 1-1 count.
One rotation, just unacceptable to take that long to start hitting your marks. The Wolverines already up 3-0 over the Terrapins.
1-1 count. Here's the pitch. This one skips in. Going to be ball two. And you say 3-0 count, certainly not ideal this early in the game, but Maryland should be lucky it's only 3 runs. Michigan very easily could have gotten more, it seems like. Leg lift and the pitch. This one's dribbled down the first base line, drifts foul. Going to be 2-2 count here with 2 outs as Elliott looks to rebound and keep the inning alive.
Elliott knew that one was going foul there. He didn't even start running. Now, even at the 2s, he'll step back into the box.
2-2 count. Here's the pitch. That one's high for a changeup. Going to make the count full as Elliott looks to get on base for the second time this evening.
Of course, that first appearance, a walk. Looked like he wanted that off-speed pitch there for a moment, but held off at the last minute.
There's a pitch. This one's sent high and deep down left field line, getting under its left fielder, makes a grab to end the inning, and that'll do it. So 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left on base in this inning as Michigan puts one more on the board here in the top of the second.
So the Wolverines get another run here, up 3-0, and wow, as a Michigan fan, you'd normally be very excited about that. Sure, there's still a little bit of frustration in the dugout that this isn't more than a 3-run lead, leaving 2 on base in the top of the first. Of course, after yesterday's performance, the Wolverines have to just be happy that they're not down 2 coming out of the first. And as we go into the bottom of the second inning with Troy Scheffler coming up first in right field, we'll see how the bottom half of this Maryland lineup performs today against Jacob Denner, now pitching for the Wolverines. He was hot against the last few batters there in the bottom of the first. We'll see how he does here bottom of the second.
Very fitting for Maryland. We got the crab walk race for 3 fans in between innings. Maryland is world famous for its crabs on the Chesapeake Bay. I don't know if they sell at baseball games, but at football games they sell crab here. They sell crab pretzels, so it's like a giant pretzel, and it's like coated in Old Bay seasoning, another Maryland staple.
Well, Bressler, if anyone's going to know what they're selling at the ballpark, at the stadium, it's you.
Yeah. Bottom of the second. Schreffler steps up to the plate. No outs here. We got Dinner coming back to pitch after getting the 3 outs in the top of the first inning, or bottom of the first inning, pardon me. First one's in, and I believe that'll be a ball. Wind up and the pitch. This one's lined and almost grabbed by the second baseman. Burden dribbles into the outfield. If they used a bigger cow to make that glove, I think he might have had it. Just unable to secure it, and we got the first base runner. I'm curious if they call that a hit or an error. I would say a hit.
I'd
right?
call that one a hit. That I wouldn't say that was like a failure on Burton's part. It was just driven so hard. If he jumped an inch to the left, he might have had that one a little bit better.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see what they put on the scoreboard.
It looks like it will be a hit. They're saying a single to second base. So there you go. One base runner with no outs here in the bottom of the second. Dinner gets set. Here's the pitch. This one's a dribbler over to shortstop. Unable to make a play at second. Skips it over to first base to Marty, and that'll get 1. So advancing on the fielder's choice is Schreffler.
And Riley Bertram at short, reliable as ever,
Oh.
and good play calls from him. We see he's a heads-up player. He knows what's going on the bases, and he knew that Schreffler was already on his way to second. The chances at turning 2 there were low, and if you miss second, you might even miss first. So good call, just getting the out. Gets Costas out, first out of the inning. Now a runner left on second.
Pitch 1 is in, and that's going to be low for a ball. And I completely agree, heads-up play, because oftentimes when you try and be the hero and rush a throw to second, it overthrows, goes in the outfield, and gives them an extra base, and you don't even get any outs out of it. 1-0 count. Here's a pitch. Liner up the middle, finds real estate in the outfield. He's rounding third. Throw is home. He'll be safe, and Maryland breaks open their goose egg. It's a 3-run ball game as Schreffler scores from second, and that laser beam right up the middle.
Bobby Smalzak with a RBI single. He put some power behind that one, unable to take second despite the Wolverines choosing to throw home. Throw not quite in time. Overtop didn't even attempt to lay the tag. Now the Wolverines lead cut to 2 runs here in the bottom of the second inning.
Ian Petrutz steps up to the plate. He's the number 8 hitter after Michigan gave up their first run of the game. Looking to get back in control with 1 out here in the bottom of the second. First pitch is in for a ball. 1-0 count here. Looking in towards home. Leg lift and the throw. That's going to be a called strike, just barely finding the zone.
That one could have gone either way. A little low in there. Petrutz didn't want it. He'll take a break and step out, refocus.
Here's the pitch, and he checks the swing. Doesn't go, according to the third base umpire. Going to make it a 2-1 count here.
Obertop looking at every opportunity possible.
Schmalzlak on first is dancing a little bit, but not getting in Dinner's head as he fires home. Going to be ball 3, 3-1 count here.
That one just missed. Must have been outside because it looked at about the right level. Hard to gauge where it falls over the plate from our vantage point.
Leg lift and the pitch. And did this hit him? Yes, it did. He'll go to first base. So second hit batter in this game. This is the first one by Dinner. But not a good look in the second inning to have 2 hit by pitches.
Ian Petrutz will take first. That moves. I believe that's Maxwell Costas. Or excuse me, no, that is not. That's 41. Bobby Smalzak over to second base. So runners on first and second. Jacob Denner will have to look to second before refocusing on the plate for every pitch here with only 1 out at the bottom of the second.
Got pitch 1 in as a strike for Keister. He's the 9 hitter, so we got the top of the order on deck. 1 out. Wind up in the pitch. This one is sent foul for strike number 2. Good connection, just a little bit late on it for the right-hander. Getting set is Dinner. Looking home. Here's the throw. This one is sent down the right field line. Getting under, it's Elliott. He makes a grab, tagging from second. Will he advance? Yes, he will, safely. So Smerzlak gets third. Runners on the corner with 2 outs here. Great play by Elliott, keeping in front of him, getting the out, and getting it in quickly.
Top of the lineup, Luke Schlager will step up to the bat. Great catch there. Over and right, of course, as you just said. Clark Elliott reliable as ever, and he gets the ball in quickly, but not in time before Smerzlak can take third. So runners on the corners, the Wolverines in a precarious position here in the bottom of the second. And really, again, it's going to come down to Denner's pitching. We'll have to see if the Wolverines try anything, try any trickery. If the runner on first tries to steal second.
We did have Obertop signal to the infield right now, so that is in play. Pitch 1 is in, and it looks like the base runner doesn't even try and move. Going to be a called strike, just barely finding the zone. 0-1 count with 2 outs here and runners on the corner. Dinner looking to get out of this one in the bottom of the second. Fires it inside, but it's another called strike. So 2 called strikes here. And Dinner is 1 pitch away from getting out of this inning, surrendering only 1. Checking over to first. Now looking home. Leg lift and the throw. This one is a rocket to right center. Going towards the wall. It's up, hits off the batter's eye. 1 run's going to score. 2 runs are going to score. We got a stand-up double from the leadoff batter to tie this game up.
And thank God for that batter's eye, and thank God it is in play here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. If this was Ray Fisher, that ball would have been out of here, as the batter's eye is a home run there. So it's going to bounce above the initial wall. So the Wolverines counting their blessings right now, as they could be down in this game.
They could be down, but still not good to give up 3 runs in the second inning.
Absolutely not. Wolverines will bring the pitching coach in, the whole infield in fact. They'll have a chat with Denner, and I mentioned earlier, of course, it was up to Denner to get out of this inning. Once you bring up Luke Schlager, he's got himself powerful swing. He steps up. He's going to get the big hit there. Nice double, a 2 RBI double, in fact, to tie this game at 2.
Let's see. Is that going to be it? Yes, it will. So he will get 1 and 2/3 innings. So we get a pitching change. Number 55, Weston comes in. So Michigan's been playing pitching roulette so far. So they are on their 3rd pitcher with only 5 outs recorded in this one.
The Wolverines' bullpen woes continue here. They'll turn to Cameron Weston on the mound. Of course, Jake Keyser emerges from this game unscathed, as the Wolverines don't score on his walk and hit by pitch. Jacob Denner emerges, giving up 3 runs in, what's that, just 1 inning of play? Maybe
he
one
had
inning,
1 and 2/3 of an inning, because he came in with no out. So he got the whole first inning and then the 2 here. He was 1 pitch away from getting out of that inning, surrendering only 1 run. Just unable to finish. I think he was too eager to record the strikeout. Gave a floating meatball right down the middle.
Now the question is, Wolverines pulling him here. We'll see Cameron Weston come in, another reliable man in the bullpen for the Wolverines, but is this the right call, or should they have let Denner just stick it out, get that final out? There was only going to be a runner on second. So they have just let him retire the side before wrapping up the inning.
It is a interesting play call. I think you got to keep the whole series in mind. After yesterday being such a long game, and already coming into this one with the expectation of this being an early relief appearance, I'm not too surprised to see Coach Bakic making another call.
Cameron Weston, we'll see how he performs here within the game. Tied at 3 now, of course, better than being tied at 7 yesterday. We'll just see if the Wolverines' bats can stay hot. Because I mentioned earlier, the Terrapins will get on the board. It is a reality that this is a strong team, very strong offensively and defensively, so it's important to get those runs in because Maryland will come close to catching up with you, or frankly, they just will. They have here already, so it's going to be up to the Michigan offense to get those bats hot once again and put a few more on the board.
So Weston prepares for his first live pitch. Guns it in. This one's a liner down the third base line. Fair. And that's going to score 1 run as Schliger rounds third. And now Maryland takes her first lead of the game.
Maryland in the lead, and Chris Aline just, I know you can't necessarily place a hit, but if you could, that one was perfect. Beautiful. With its spin, it just landed about a foot in play, but the spin pulled it quickly down to the bullpen wall on the Maryland left field side.
And it had just enough height to get over Fry's reached out glove, but not far enough to get to the left fielder.
Rogers had to chase for it. No doubt that Schliger would be able to score.
So 1 pitch and already another run surrendered. That one is not given to Weston, however, as LaRusso steps up to the plate. He had a double play in the first inning after a home run yesterday. Leg lift and the throw. This one's fouled off right on the catcher's helmet. Hoping Obertop is okay on that one. Takes his helmet off to compose himself. It looks like he's in a little bit of pain right now.
Worth noting that the grandstand has filled up here at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium. A much better crowd than we saw about 10 minutes pregame. That normally does happen at college athletic events across the country, but great to see
that
the crowd.
at Fisher a lot too.
Yeah, it really does fill up slowly, and with this being a game moved to 6, it's nice to see people showing out. They might have just heard the music out of the distance and wandered over.
Today was the last day of exams at UMD, so a lot of students may be burning off some steam coming to the baseball game.
Why not? It's not the best weather, but always great for baseball here between 2 great programs.
Pitches in on the 1-1 count. It's going to be low for ball number 2. 2 outs here, and Weston anxiously trying to get out of this inning. Weston leg lift and the throw. Base runner, Gunner. He'll be safe just barely as Aline just barely slides in. Split second, great throw, but unable to get there in time. And now we got a runner 90 feet away as Maryland leads by 1 run.
That's a tough one as Obertop has himself an arm, but the pitch was in the dirt. Had to grab it for a moment and then stand. Throw just missed.
3-1 pitch, and that's going to be ball 4. Runners back on the corner. So Michigan can't get a break this inning. Already 4 runs surrendered, and Michigan can't purchase an out to save their team at this point.
Michigan coach giving a signal to Obertop behind the plate. He'll step forward. They clearly have a play in mind with runners on the corners. And we'll wait and see what the Maryland runner, Chris Aline, chooses to do from first base.
Curious to see if Aline moves very much. Does have quite a few stolen bases this season. We got Aline at third with 20 stolen bases and LaRusso at first, yet to even attempt to steal. So I don't know how much he'll be moving, but if there's ever a time, now it is. 0-1 pitch is in, and that's going to be low to even it up at 1 apiece.
And I'm looking at the outfield here, and left field, above where we've got NCAA titles, I do see a mark that says 400 meters. Now, I can't see if that is for the building.
Shot is ripped down the right field line over the fence, and that is a home run. Maryland extends their lead even further. It is now 7-3 after that blast from Shaw. 2 straight games with a home run. And that was a no-doubter down the first base line.
Shaw, the righty, knocks it way out of right field, and that one just clearing the foul pole by a few feet.
Yeah. It definitely had the distance from the bat, but the question would be if it's foul or not. Thought it would be one of those rare situations where it rattles the foul pole, but just barely misses it.
But wow. So Shaw put some power on it. And you have to ask, what are the Wolverines doing? Jacob Denner was 1 strike away a moment ago. Of course, he gives up 2 runs, but you bring in Cameron Weston, and 4 have scored since.
Yeah, Michigan, they were in driving position for a while. Coming into this half inning, they were leading 3-0. Now they're trailing by 4, and 6 of the 7 runs have been scored with 2 outs here. Pitches in. This one is a dribbler down the first base line. Should finish the inning. Marty scoops it up, tags the base unassisted. So that'll do it. So we got 7 runs scored, 5 hits, 0 errors. So I guess that answers our question from earlier about it not being an error. No runners left on base after that cleanup blast. And there we have it. Michigan back in the hole after starting off hot. And we got Ryan Ramsey on pace for the win once again.
What an inning there. So we're back to right where we were yesterday, essentially at least. The Terrapins in the lead. They have 7 right now. Michigan behind in a slightly better position than last time with 3.
Yeah, it might be a better position now, but it's never good to give up 7 runs in a single inning, especially like that with blasts and a couple of deep hits.
That really shows the ability of this Maryland offense. And it's something I was speaking to earlier. You got to get runs whenever possible, which really brings into question the Michigan play call in, of course, the top of the first inning, where they had the opportunity to score 2 more, but ended up leaving them both stranded, or rather, one of them called out, attempting to steal home on the squeeze.
I think the call that's going to get more criticism after this game is the pitching change with 2 outs. I do realize Dinner gave up some runs to tie it up, but then to make that change with 2 outs there and not let him finish the inning and then end up 4 more runs being surrendered, it's a very tough play call to defend from the head coach.
And of course, Jake Singer will be asking the questions with the Michigan Daily after the game, so we can see their response in his article later tonight.
So there we go, ending the inning as Stewart steps in, the number 2 batter. First pitch is in, and that is going to be a ball, 1-0 count here. Next pitch is in, and this is a bit high. Going to be 2-0. It's Michigan now down 4. First time they're down all game after getting 2 in the first and 1 in the second. 2-0 count. Here's a pitch. That's going to miss. 3-0 count. So Ramsey has struggled with the walks already this game, giving up 3 in 2 innings so far, on the verge of a 4th one here. Pitch is in. That one's going to be ball 4, so a little bit outside.
So Ramsey outside, upstairs, everywhere, but on target. He'll walk Stewart in 4. And I guess, Adam, if you're going to walk any batter on the Michigan team, Stewart's the guy to do it to. That'll bring up Matt Fry, though, and after him we've got cleanup Jimmy Obertop. So the opportunity for some damage here with a runner on first and no outs at the top of the 3rd.
Yeah, and this would be huge for Michigan to get back in this game after surrendering 7 to put up some more runs of their own. So we got a pickoff attempt, not even close, as Stewart dives in head first, beats it by a split second.
Stewart takes himself a decent lead there, just about the edge of the lip.
Another pickoff attempt, and Stewart's back. He's taken a decent lead, but not outrageous. I'm kind of surprised 2 pickoff attempts have been made this half inning.
Ramsey really shows when he's going to throw to first, too. He takes an initial step that gives it all away.
And a 3rd pickoff attempt. Like he might be stealing, and I wouldn't be surprised Stewart has 17 stolen bases, but he's not taking an outrageous lead.
Yeah, it's a very interesting play call here from Ryan Ramsey. He gets distracted with runners on base, that's for sure. We'll see if he turns his attention now to Matt Fry at home.
Yeah, not a single pitch thrown towards home with 3 balls towards first. Make that 4. He's in safe again. He is clearly distracted. I know some pitchers are better than others at staying focused at the batter at hand, but Ramsey is not one of them.
Now, distracted might not even be the best descriptor here. He's looking even.
So we had the pitch in. It's going to be a ball, and he'll steal safely. So I guess he was correct to be a little bit concerned about that.
The word I was going to use was paranoid, but of course, well, that turned out to be not true.
Yeah, he had that was his 19th stolen base for Stewart. So he's only been caught once, but his lead wasn't that outrageous. And I guess the best counter to a guy you know is stealing is just throw a good fastball to a position where the catcher could pop on up and gun it out easily. Just unable to do that. And with that, we got a runner on second base with a 1-1 count here.
Stewart has himself some speed, and we'll see even he might even try for third. He's got himself a fine lead from second, larger than he did from first.
Definitely on an off-speed he might. Pitches in, and that would have been the pitch to go. Skipped in on the metaphorical dirt.
Yeah.
Here and
nice
then
turf.
Yeah. Interesting here at Turtle Stadium. It's all AstroTurf, even the infield, except the pitcher's mound.
Now, of course, I have seen fields with turf mounts, so they bring the dirt in there for the natural feel.
Here's the windup and the pitch. This one is shot into center, going back as Elena hits over the fence, home run. Elaine unable to get to it, and that will be another strike from the Wolverines to bring it back within 2.
Matt Fry cuts the deficit in half. The Wolverines are showing some signs of life after giving up 7 in the bottom of the second. They cut the deficit to 2. Now down 7-5 to the Maryland Terrapins with still no outs here in the top of the third.
You mentioned it before the game that it's going to be fireworks from the Terrapins, and the question would be if Michigan could match, and so far they have. 2 blasts of their own here, including a 1-run and a 2-run. No outs here, and I'm curious how long Ramsey stays in this game. I see some movement in the Terrapins' pin, and they were very lucky to come back, and he's back in the position to get the win. But ball coming in low, 2-0 count. So the question is, do you ride with him much longer?
Well, you know, it's always a tough call to make because you never know which way it's going to go. The Wolverines right now likely regretting their decision to pull Jacob Denner last inning.
Yeah, they would have the lead right now, assuming Denner could have gotten out of that. But regardless, it's a 2-1 count now with 0 outs here, and Michigan is looking to keep the pedal on the metal. Leg lift and the throw, a little bit high, 3-1 count here for Obertop. He has a 373 OBP, but notably is his slugging percentage. He has a 440. 2 RBIs already this game in the first inning. Hits a laser to the shortstop. Throw is dribbled over towards first base, but just barely in time.
Shortstop Matt Shaw received it and a 2-hopped it over to first baseman Maxwell Costas, who was able to scoop it up in time, but not quite. Great run from Jimmy Overtop, just wasn't able to make it quite in time.
That's another factor with these all-turf infields is that it's much easier to scoop stuff out of the dirt that hop, less unpredictable lips and bounces. So we got 1 out here in the third. Pitch is in, and that's just barely fouled. Dribbled down the third base line. Awfully close, but skidded away at the last possible moment. Going to be an 0-1 count here.
0-1 down to the count. 1 out now with no one on. Ryan Ramsey may have started to find his stride once more after a quick slip up there in the very beginning of the inning.
Yeah. To start off this inning, he had 4 straight balls for a walk, then 3 more straight balls, a stolen base, and a home run.
Walking Joe Stewart, of course, dangerous.
Pitch is in high, but a swing and a whiff. Flores struck out swinging in his first at-bat.
The walk to Stewart didn't even end up dangerous as Fry handled everything. Just taking care of business, knocking it out of the park, so Stewart's stolen base wouldn't even matter in the long run. Both would score off the long ball off of Fry's bat.
Leg lift and the pitch. Another one popped up in the air. Getting under it is Elaine, and he makes a grab. 2 outs here on the warning track.
Tito Flores reached for that one. He was just a tad early. If he was in slightly better position and it might have hit the barrel a little more in the center, might have been able to put some more distance on that one and get it out of here.
Flores is one of Michigan's best power hitters, playing designated hitter in today's outing and batting in the 5-hole. Next up, we got Bertram at the plate. He had a ground out in the first inning, unassisted to the first baseman, Costas. That one's going to be fouled down the first base line for an 0-1 count here. Leg lift and the pitch. This one's foul tipped for strike number 2. Ramsey is hoping to get out of this inning without surrendering any more runs. This might be the last we see of Ramsey with some movement in the Terrapins' pen.
Yeah, that will be a tough call for the coaching staff. He's back on track now.
Laser beam to the outfield. Getting under it is Elaine, and that'll do it here from the third. 2 runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner left on base, I believe. No runners left on base, and that'll do it from the top of the third. 2 big blasts to the outfield, just not quite enough. If it were a windier day, Michigan might have tied up this game.
So the Wolverines are making contact against Ramsey. However, the Terrapins held them at 2 there. They'll cut the deficit in half, down 7-5 after 2.5 innings in play. Well, the big question now becomes, do the Terrapins keep in Ramsey longer throughout this game? I will peg it at yes. I'm gonna go on the record saying I bet they keep him in. He's done fine so far. Giving up 5, yes, but the Terrapins have given him a slight pad. If he gives up any more, I'd expect to see some more action in the bullpen. Bullpen has slowed down since that inning ended.
It did, but it's not the 5 runs that I'm concerned about, but I'm more concerned about 2 things, actually. One is his struggles to find the strike zone. He had, I believe, 5 walks already in 3 innings, so not doing well at getting the strikes. And the other thing is Michigan's ability to really put it high and deep. They have 2 deep balls already, and then 2 more that are caught in deep center field that very easily at other ballparks might have been gone, or with a more friendly gust could have been gone too. We got Weston coming back out. Already surrendered several runs, 3 of them credited to him. So we got Costes up at the plate. He had a ground out in his first at-bat in the second inning. As we got the bottom of the third leadoff hitter. Pitch 1 is in, low for a ball to the first baseman. Second one is in, even it up at 1-1 with a called strike. That one's inside for another ball. You have to say this is a beautiful ballpark with a view of a couple of dorms and some old-fashioned buildings in the background. Really a college town vibe.
I love the vibe at this ballpark. Pitch fouled off. You got the business school on the left-hand side, I believe.
You can tell it's a business school because it looks exactly like a business school.
Yep. It's how I would imagine they would have made Ross if Ross wasn't known for its orange and blue design.
You know why they did that? It was for the Miami Dolphins, of course. I only found that out a couple weeks ago. Laser beam down the third base line. Fry unable to scoop it up in time, and that'll probably be called an error. So we got Costas taking first base here in the bottom of the third.
Now, Bressler, if you do want any more Michigan fun facts, I am a tour guide, so I am
really?
happy to give some out.
If this game gets out of hand, I might call on you for some of those. I'm just finished up junior year at Michigan. I found that out a month ago. That's why it was blue and orange. But it makes total sense. I'm not surprised.
A homage to Ann Arbor's favorite billionaire.
Yes. Let me rephrase that. The development office's favorite billionaire.
Yes,
I don't know if the
point.
community's favorite billionaire. Zamolzak comes on in. Lines one into the outfield. That hits the ground, goes to the warning track, and I don't think it'll be enough to score as we got Costas holding up at third. But with no outs here, 2 runners already in scoring position, this does not look like it's going to be Michigan's game.
No, the Terrapins have set themselves up so far this inning for success, and we're just not seeing what we need from Cameron Weston on the mound. He's throwing, he's leaving balls hanging down the center, and Maryland's eating him up right now. Runners on second and third, no outs, and that'll bring up Ian Petrutz, the designated hitter, batting 8th in the lineup.
Petrutz, he had a hit by pitch in the second inning and eventually scored. Wind up in the pitch, shot down the first base line, finds the gap, will bring one in, will bring a second one in, and Maryland extends their lead 9-5 here in the bottom of the third.
Maryland wiping out the progress Michigan made back in the top of this inning. And every break Michigan gets, they seem to give it up so far.
Yeah. Got another mound visit. And Michigan, their offense has been here. 5 runs through 3 innings should be sufficient. Michigan's defense, and particularly their pitching, just isn't holding up their end of the bargain.
That's honestly the most unfortunate thing we've seen so far, too, because it's a rarity, especially against a team as good as Maryland, that you're able to put 5 on the board through 3. And instead of running with that and holding them defensively, through various mishaps, the Wolverines have given up 9 already. And we don't even have an out here in the bottom of the third inning. Home plate umpire at home, James Albert today will walk out to the mound to break that meeting up. Wolverines won't be making any changes here. They're sticking with Cameron Weston. On the note of the umpires, at first today is Wilson Renor. Second is Michael Sadowski. And third, Brian DeBaror. I believe he was our home plate umpire last night. I'd say his calls were pretty consistent. Did a fine job behind the plate.
According to this stat sheet, the home plate umpire's nickname is Buzz.
Buzz.
As we get a pitch in, that's going to be another ball. No outs here as Cam Weston is really struggling in the bottom of the third. Already given up 2 with a base runner. Steps towards home. Foul tip caught by the catcher Obertop, so that'll even it up at 1-1.
Now Keister, 9th in the lineup. The most the Wolverines can get here is a double play for 2 outs. We're guaranteed to see the top of the lineup come up. So this is an important out.
Pitches in, and that was way outside, but he was chasing on Keister. Kind of surprised. He's annoyed that he chased on that too. That would have been a hit by pitch for a left-handed batter. That's how far outside it was.
Absolutely.
Here's the pitch, and this one skips in and way outside, and this is not Cam Weston's afternoon. He is really struggling.
No, that'll bring the count to 2-2 here, and if Keister chased the changeup there, the outside fastball was, well, he saw that one coming from a mile away.
Leg lift and the throw, swing and a miss, and that'll be a strikeout. Weston is lucky to get out of that at bat with an out and with a strikeout for that matter.
Really
after
is.
some really wild pitches there.
No, 5 pitches he threw there. Of course, he'll go down with 3 strikes and only 2 balls, but let's be honest with ourselves. He might have thrown 1 strike and then 2 were, could go either way, both of which were swung at by Kevin Keister.
One of them could not have gone either way. One was
fair.
way outside that he was swung in at. But absolutely lucky for Weston. 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd. Top of the order's back up to Schliger. He has a walk and a double for 2 RBIs in the 2nd inning. That really cracked that one open and forced Bakic's hand with the pitching change. Pitches in. That one's a swing and a miss to make it a 1-1 count.
Schliger, again, old reliable for Maryland. One of the best batting averages. 2nd best in this lineup with .339. And he's 1 for 1 today with the walk.
This one's a dribbler over to second base. Throws to second, throws to first. Unable to get the out at the first base, but got the lead runner. So it'll make it 2 outs.
And on the throw there, Jake Marty drops the ball at first. That's his 2nd dropped ball just this inning. So you have to ask yourself what might be going on there. His head might not be fully in this game right now, as he doesn't seem completely focused.
You think that could be a factor. I'm curious if maybe the slick field, if the ball's a little bit slick too, but it shouldn't be a huge factor.
Yeah, I mean, the field's a little damp. We had some drizzle before the game yesterday, so whatever's on Marty's head, or maybe it's whatever's on the ball, the water on the ball, he really has to start catching these and controlling them. Can't have balls getting past you at first.
We got a rip by Elaine into center field, getting under it, Stewart, and that'll do the inning. So Michigan gets out of the bottom of the 3rd, but still surrenders 2 runs, and Maryland's lead is back up to 4 as we go into the top of the 4th inning.
Now, a 4-run deficit is nothing that the Wolverines haven't come back from before. I'm confident that they can handle it, but if they keep giving up 2 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, as it's gone the past 3 innings, they won't be able to win this game. This is a Wolverine program I was reading the Michigan side. They went 0 runs, 7 runs, and 2 runs. So that inability to just keep it consistent means that if this keeps happening, the Wolverines will not be able to control the Terrapins. And any gains that they make in cutting that deficit, this is 4 runs at the moment, will be washed out each time the Terrapins are up to bat.
Oh, I'm curious about this. So I'm looking ahead at Michigan's schedule. On Tuesday, they host Michigan State, in-state rival. And then they play Rutgers in a 3-game series to close out the regular season, also at home. So tough end of the season. But if I'm reading the schedule correctly, I don't believe the MSU game is an official Big Ten matchup.
Now, they did already have their 3-game Big Ten series against MSU.
So I'm curious if that's just an exhibition. Have to look that up. Nope. Shouldn't matter too much for Michigan standings, but I guess a win there could be good, helpful.
State they're not the best team that we've seen.
Anyone listening from Ann Arbor, a week from yesterday, Friday, May 20th, is Bark in the Park Day. Come on out to Ray Fisher Stadium and bring your dog. That's always fun. I called the Bark in the Park game earlier this season. There were probably just as many canine fans as human fans in attendance.
Really? That's fantastic.
Yeah. So we start the 4th inning. Ramsey is back. First one is a high pop-up to right center, getting under it and making the grab for out number 1.
That's Ted Burton popping out to lead us off in the inning.
So already 1 out here. Michigan has scored in all 3 innings so far. Looking to keep that streak going and potentially close up their deficit. They're trailing 9-5. Pitch in and another contact. Laser beam right to Shaw. Throws over to first. Shaw has been a brick wall this game. Anything to his side of the infield. has been a solid out so far, it seems like.
So two outs and 2 pitches.
Yeah. Great efficiency from Ramsey after a couple of long innings so far. Maybe finally finding the groove.
And like you said, Shaw, just a brick wall. He's consistent out there, and that's all you can ask of your shortstop. Consistent, quick throws. He's holding it together for the Terrapins.
Yes, he is. And we got Rogers back in. He had a ground out in the 2nd inning. And he steps into the batter's box, but then calls time and steps out. I'm curious if he wants to change his batting glove or his bat or something. He's adding some pine tar to his bat.
Interesting call. Might be something that Rogers needs. He has not been performing too well this season. 172 batting average, and he's in and out of the lineup consistently. Does a decent job out in left field, but at the plate just really hasn't seen success.
Does have 12 walks, which is 1 more than the amount of hits he has. So he is getting on base a decent amount. Fires that one in for strike 1 from Ramsey. Finding the zone after struggling so far.
Adam, if you don't mind me going way back for a moment, I just have one question about Bark in the Park.
Yeah, of course.
And a swing and the miss there for Rogers. Do the dogs sit on the bleachers, or are they down on the concrete?
Some of them were sitting on the bleachers.
Really?
Most of them were down. But it was so cute. All these Michigan gear, like Michigan jerseys, Michigan collars, pitches in, and that one skips in for a ball. 1-2 count here. But it was certainly even, I don't have a dog of my own, but it was a really fun experience just to be in that stadium.
No pets at home?
No pets, unfortunately. City boy like me can't keep any pets. 1-2 count here as Michigan looking to get a spark with 2 outs. Rogers steps out, gets back in. Here's the leg lift and the throw. And that's awfully close, but going to be a ball.
A few oohs and ahs from the crowd.
Going to be a little bit low is, I think, what it was. 2-2 count here. Probably about 60%. Here's a pitch. High. Full count now. Say 60% Terrapins fans and probably about 40 Michigan fans.
Michigan does do a good job pulling a crowd, and, of course, D.C., a big Michigan area.
Here's the leg lift and the pitch, and that's going to be a ball 4. So after 2 early strikes, rallying back and getting a 2-out base runner for Rogers.
Rogers, a good at-bat there, and Elliott, of course, another player to watch who really does a good job seeing that strike zone and only swinging at pitches that are close. Rogers is someone who normally falls culprit to a changeup or curveball off speed in the dirt, so it's great to see him have the patience to get those four balls come in and take that free ride down to first.
Yeah, especially with 2 outs here in Michigan down by 4. Leadoff batter, he has a walk and a run, but also a fly out. Pitch 1 is in, fastball down the middle, tipped. That'll be strike 1. Elliott has been one of the key components of this Michigan lineup, particularly offensively and on the base paths too. When he gets on, you see both his speed and his, his energy on the base path. It adds a distraction to the pitcher, and it helps for batters behind him.
And speaking of base path energy, Rogers with himself a lead on first. We'll have a throw there. No tag is attempted. Rogers very fast on the base path, sliding back in plenty of time. Ramsey didn't even have a chance.
Rogers only 5 stolen bases this season, but he's successful in all of them. 0-1 count. Here's the pitch. That's high for a change-up 1-1 count.
And I think the only having 5 stolen bases really doesn't speak against him. It's more rather low batting average plus only in the lineup every few days is why we don't see more stolen bases from him. I'm interested to see if he goes now with 2 outs.
I'd be curious if, like, Stat Broadcast or some of these websites keeps a stolen base percentage. And we got a pickoff, and let's see if he's safe. He will come in. So he had a very extended lead on the pickoff. He just went to second. An errant throw brings him in at second, but that was dangerous play right there.
But a great job drawing the throw from Ramsey to first base. That was crucial. So he had a lead large enough to draw Ramsey's attention. The moment Ramsey began to throw, Rogers was off blasting to second and steals another base. So make that 6 for Rogers on the season.
Runner on second now with 2 outs, and this one is popped high into left field. Drifting foul. Will it stay in play? It will not. Into the bullpen. One of the Terrapins warming up catches it on the fly. Unfortunately, that's not an out for them.
The Wolverines can count their blessings here. If that ball was about 20 feet farther infield, it would have been in foul territory, able to be caught by left fielder Bobby Smolzak. Of course, here at Turtle Stadium, the bullpen on the Maryland side just juts into the field, eliminating some of that foul territory.
This is unique. So Maryland's bullpen is out of play, but Michigan's is completely in play. You don't see that very often.
No.
It's either both or none. I think this might be the first time, and I've been to a lot of ballparks.
I understand the favoritism. Where Michigan's would be, it seems that there's a road that cuts into the territory.
Have to make do with the geography. So we get an off-speed in, and that's going to be a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here with a runner on second. Michigan looking to get some runs, or at least some in the show for this inning after trailing by 4. We got Ramsey still pitching in this one.
Ramsey's paying no attention to Rogers on second.
There's a pitch. This one is ripped into deep right field on the warning track. Is Schreffler and makes it with his back to the wall. That'll be out number 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base in the top of the 4th inning, as Michigan has their first inning without any runs in this game, still trailing 5-9. And they're in the hole, and we get Cam Weston back out for another inning.
Yeah, an unfortunate inning, just a few more feet. That one is out of here, and the Wolverines once more would have brought the deficit to just 2. Unfortunately, unable to pull that ball out, maybe with a little wind, like you mentioned earlier. Could have had it on out, and that'll bring up Joe Stewart to lead off the top of the 5th once the Wolverines are back up. If you are a Michigan fan, of the about 30-40% of Michigan fans in the stands today, you're just praying that the Turtles don't put more on the board here in the bottom of the 4th. Already up 4 in a 9-5 showing over the Wolverines after 3.5.
So Michigan trailing by 4 here, and Weston is attributed for 5 of those runs. So Michigan would be leading without any of Weston's earned runs this game. Notice how there's a lot of advertisements at the stadium for Under Armour. The CEO and founder of Under Armour actually went to Maryland, is a big sponsor of both the university and athletic departments.
And Turtle Stadium, it's a beautiful complex. I love its old-fashioned feel with the curved grandstand, but you really don't appreciate that Michigan doesn't really have advertisements at its facilities until you go to a facility with big ads in the outfield.
First pitch is a rip to second base. Burden picks it up, skips it over to Marty for out number 1. And Weston found a groove on that pitch.
Just because I'm still thinking about the outs here, and a great scoop there by the second baseman Ted Burton. Quick, easy out routine. When the athletic department does expand the video boards at the Big House, it'll be interesting to see if they do introduce ads. You have to hope not. You know, the Michigan community would be against it, but they're spending $8 million on 2 video boards in the north and south end zones, and we'll see if with the expanded space we have ads.
Pitches in, called strike on the outside corner. Supposedly, those new expanded video boards are supposed to be the largest outdoor video boards in any stadium in the world.
Oh, I can't wait.
Blows my mind.
I can't wait, man.
0-1 count, pitches in, skips into the catcher. Speaking of Michigan football, I always love the touch that Obertop has the winged helmet, catching helmet there. just like the football team.
A great tribute to the Michigan tradition.
Oh, totally. Pitches in for another ball. 2-1 count here to Shaw. Shaw has a home run today and a home run yesterday. Certainly a dangerous man in the Terrapins lineup. This one's a little bit inside, so three ball, 1 strike count.
And the last note I'll make about the Michigan Stadium addition, it's a $41 million project. It's worth noting that it's all privately funded, a rarity in college athletics.
Absolutely. This one is ripped deep down the right field line, over the fence. Second home run of the game. Leaping grab by Elliott isn't enough. And we have 2 blasts already from Shaw, third of the series. He is having a weekend that he will never forget.
Wow, what a hit. Chasing after it in right field. Elliott with a nice leap. That ball just cleared his glove by about a foot, and if he had robbed that, what a fantastic play it would have been. Instead, Maryland now doubling Michigan's score of 5 with 10 on the board.
And that's the 6th earned run by Cam Weston. We have 2 pitchers actually warming up in the pen, so I won't be surprised if we see a change soon. Pitches in for a ball, 1 out here. So we had 7 runs surrendered in the second, 2 more in the third, and now an additional 1 in the fourth. Fouled off of his leg, so that'll be a dead ball. So we have a 1-1 count here with Schreffler at the plate. He has a single and a run, and then a ground out to first base in this game. Pitches in low at the knees. Going to be a ball, I believe. 2-1 count. Maryland now has double the amount of runs as Michigan. Wind up and the pitch. And that one's fouled off to even it up at 2-2.
And double the amount of runs of Michigan. It's just unfortunate for this Michigan program. They can't seem to catch a break, and they're really struggling defensively right now. Because in baseball, scoring 5 runs through the first 4 should be enough to at least secure you a lead.
When Michigan had that great run to the College World Series just a couple years back, it was on the momentum and on the strength of their pitching, both their bullpen and their rotation. This year's quite the opposite. They have the power, just nobody to rely on when going to the bullpen in a very shaky rotation.
And we'll have to see if Jacob Denner makes an appearance again, because frankly, he was having a much better day than Cameron Weston was already. And I mean Jacob Denner, another appearance in the series, not today.
Yeah. Pitches in, ball 4, so that'll send a base runner with 1 out. We got Costes coming up.
On the stat broadcast right now, through 1.2 innings, Cameron Weston has himself 6 earned runs already.
Yeah.
Not what the Wolverines are looking for.
Oh, absolutely not. And one of the things I'm thinking about is Cam Weston, he's a traditional starter. He's used to these longer outings. So I'm curious what maybe, I don't know if that was a consideration or not when putting Dinner in, if as the traditional reliever, only giving him a couple innings, then taking him out after a sign of trouble. But it has not worked out well for the Wolverines. Pitch 1 is in for a strike, 0-1 count. Stealing for second, and that throw is errant, goes into the outfield, but it'll hold up there. Runner now on second base for the Terrapins with 1 out and a 1-1 count here.
Troy Scheffler showing off the speed there as he stole from first to second. Obertop's throw. Obertop, normally very reliable behind home, will bounce a bit too much for shortstop Riley Bertram to grab. That's second baseman Ted Burton to grab, and that one will drift out into the outfield.
Burton's cheating in a bit to cover second, but no pickoff attempt, and that pitch will come home for a ball. 2-1 count. So we got Costas up at the plate. He has a ground out in the second inning, and then a single and an eventual run in the third inning. 2-1 count. Leg lift and the throw. Fouled off right down the third base line to the base coach. Going to be a 2-2 count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out here in the bottom of the 4th. Already 1 run scored on a home run.
Weston with an opportunity to make this 2 outs right here.
There's the throw, and this one skips in. Steal attempt held up, but he'll be safe. We had Scheffler go about halfway, but then dive back, and he was in safely.
Scheffler wanted third. However, Overtop solid behind home, able to grab the ball quickly. Scheffler thought it was going to get past him and began to run.
Full count here with 1 out. Here's the throw. This one's ripped down to shortstop. He scoops it up, throws over to Marty, gets the out, and the base runner holds up. 2 outs now with a runner on second.
So another good play.
Smarzlat comes on up. 2 hits already as a single and a double, so I guess that hope at the cycle is still alive as an RBI and 2 runs. So if it weren't for probably Shaw's 2 blasts, I think he might be the batter of the game in this one.
And we'll see here what he does. 2 outs, right around second.
Pitches in, skips in for ball 1. Didn't even make its way to the plate before it found the AstroTurf.
Yeah, it bounced quick as Scheffler was ready to go. If a ball gets by Overtop, you know he's got third clean.
That's the thing, though. Overtop doesn't let very many balls get by him. Here's the throw. Swing and a miss for a strike. 1-1 count with 2 outs here.
And worth noting, the moment Weston enters his windup, once his arm starts to move and you know he's committed to the throw, Scheffler, he takes a few extra steps to just get that jump in. So what might be a routine single could score him now with 2 outs.
And speaking of which, we get the first pickoff attempt. He does not throw it, but he does step off and fake a throw, just keeping the base runner honest mostly. Scheffler is very aggressive, has 13 stolen base attempts, but he's been caught in 2 of them. Pitches in, and it's fouled off for strike number 2. 1-2 count with 2 outs here.
And you see Cam Weston looking back to second, looking for that out. However, really, focus needs to be fully on the plate now. 1-2 the count with 2 outs. The ability to, with a single strike, end this inning, retire the side, and get the Wolverines' bats going once more.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. Going to remain 1-2. Michigan has struggled all game with getting out of these innings. They get 2 outs relatively easily, but they just can't maintain it. One ball, 2 strikes. Pitches in, dribbler down the third base line, scooping up his fry, throws to first. Is it in time? It is not.
That's a call that I really felt could go either way. I guess tie goes to the runner and just Smalzak hauling to first base.
Running everything out, and it adds up. So now we got base runners on the corner. And Petrut steps back up at the plate, looking to get more runs in this one. He has a hit by pitch in the second and a single in the third. 2 RBI single at that. So 1 run, 1 hit, and 2 RBIs in this game. Seems like every batter on UMD is racking up the stats in tonight's outing.
What a break for the Terps with that safe call.
Pitches in, and that's going to be a called strike. 0-1 count here with 2 outs and runners on the corner. Here's the pitch. Low and inside for a ball. Going to be a 1-1 count here with 2 outs. Weston struggling to get out of this inning. Already gave up a home run. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss for strike number 2. one pitch away once again from returning to the dugout.
You know, it feels like we've said this a few times, though, and the Wolverines keep coming up short here. The Marylands find a way to stay alive with 2 outs on the board.
Leg lift and the throw. Skips into home plate for ball number 2. Evens it up at 2-2 with 2 outs and 2 runners on. Maryland looking to extend their lead even further. Already up by 5, but 2 runners on base and 1 just 90 feet away from home plate. Leg lift and the throw. Rips it right to the second baseman, Burden. Skips it over towards first base to Marty, and that'll be it for this 4th inning. We had 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. And Michigan is halfway through this game, but down by 5.
Yeah, the Wolverines only give up 1 here, which, you know, we just have to say it. Yeah, at least it's only 1, right?
Yeah.
It could have been much worse there. Dependent Fanatic, great to have you back in the chat. Haven't seen you since I think I was calling Notre Dame versus Michigan playoff hockey for the Big Ten.
Yeah, Dependent Fanatic was in the chat for the softball game this afternoon. We had a broadcaster up in East Lansing for the Big Ten softball tournament. Michigan tied it up, but unable to finish. It went into 8 innings. And Michigan just unable to bring a run home in time before blowing the game. Tomorrow is the selection show for the softball team. It's very likely they'll be one of the top 64 teams in the nation and advance into the college NCAA postseason for softball. The question then becomes, where might they go? And being college softball, these regionals are often in the South and in the West Coast. So regardless, not super convenient for the Wolverines, but anything within a couple hours driving distance of Ann Arbor we'll look to cover. Stay tuned to our Twitter page for that.
And Adam, any word on the water polo NCAAs? Has that concluded?
That has concluded. That was last weekend. Michigan lost in the quarterfinals to the number 3 team in the nation, California. Michigan coming in, they were hosting it in Ann Arbor, but just unable to close out there. And it's tough against these Cal teams. UCLA, Cal Berkeley, Stanford, USC. They're all very good. Hawaii, too. Just the West Coast really dominates in water polo. Got pitch 1 in for a ball. And then the next one in for a called strike, so 1-1 to Stewart. He has 2 walks in this game.
No one wants to pitch to Joe.
I can't blame them. Low and away and a swing and a miss. Bit of a moonshot swing there. Going for the fences, and that's what happens when you fall down by 5. You get kind of desperate and make these attempts to just tie it up as much as you can. Another moonshot swing, but he's able to foul it off here, so it's a 1-2 count still.
And I will say, if Joe Stewart can get himself a home run here, even if it's just a solo shot, it could be just what the Wolverines need to revitalize. The scoreboard went out for a moment here.
It's a pitch, and that's a swing and a miss. Strike 3, he's out of there. Stewart had 9 home runs this season on 200 at-bats up to that point, but unable to make another one as Michigan has 1 away and Matt Fry steps up to the plate. He has a home run already today with 2 RBIs and a walk, but he was stranded on third with the walk. So having the offense, just it's not enough to match what Maryland's able to put up so far.
And Ryan Ramsey's really come around here.
Yeah.
To Stewart go down there. That's big for the Terrapins, getting out one of the biggest Michigan power hitters.
Ramsey on pace for his 10th win of the season, assuming Maryland does not blow this 5-run lead, as we got another pitch in for a 1-1 count.
And, of course, worth noting that the Wolverines likely won't have their top of the lineup up for quite some time, given that they've been going 1-2-3, 1-2-3-4 as of late.
Yeah, first 3 innings, they put up runs in all 3, just unable to finish as of late. And you said 1-2-3, 1-2-3-4. We got 1 out here already. High ball, and they say it hit off him.
So Matt Fry will take a ride down to first base. A nice break for the Wolverines as we bring up cleanup hitter Jimmy Obertop. And down 5, you need to hope for some big swings here from the catcher. 267 so far this season. He's 1 for 2 today. Got a 2 RBI double in the first and grounded out in the third.
Pitch is in, and that's going to be a ball. 1-0 count for Ramsey. Looking it up, Ramsey leads the Big Ten in wins. No, wins aren't exactly the stat they once were, with like recent sabermetrics and everything. Ball 2 comes on in, but still 9-0 record. Says something about your pitching performance. I would imagine he's selected to the first team All Big Ten at the end of the season. Leg lift and the throw. This one is fouled off high into foul territory. 2-1 count. So we got Obertop, the catcher, up at the plate. He has a 2 RBI double in the first and then a ground out in the third. Now in the fifth, he's trying to make something happen as well.
Fry has himself a lead at first, and Ramsey will throw there. Fry doesn't even slide back in, just walks back. No tag attempt from first baseman Maxwell Costas.
Looking home, we have the leg lift and the throw. Swing and a miss. That'll make it a 2-2 count as Obertop looks to stay alive here. Playing the Jaws music over the PA system.
Every time there's 2 strikes.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, and a runner on first base. We got a pickoff attempt. He wasn't even leading that far. He was 2 steps off the bag.
We were talking earlier about it. Ramsey gets distracted very easily on the mound with runners on first or second.
Yeah, we've had at least a dozen pickoff attempts this game, and we're only in the 5th inning, and Michigan hasn't even been that egregious. Leg lift and the throw, fouled off. May have tipped his leg a little bit, but he walks it off. Obertop staying alive.
Jimmy Obertop just looking to keep fouling those off. He's another batter to watch, and there's a reason he's at cleanup. He sees the ball well, and he'll foul off a few until he gets the balls. He likes to draw those in.
Okay, this isn't leg lift and the pitch, 2-2. Going to be a ball low. So this isn't updated for today's game, but Ramsey is also second in the Big Ten in ERA. So he has a lot of personal allocates in this game, in this season rather. Even after surrendering 5 runs in this one, he'll still probably rank high in the Big Ten standings. Pitch is in, just barely misses for another walk.
And you were talking about best ERAs in the Big Ten. Worth noting that 2 of the top 3 best ERAs do belong to Maryland. Jason Savakul, who we saw last night, he's with a 2.51 ERA on the season. He secured the win, of course, not without some sacrifice there, as the Terps gave up 7 to the Wolverines.
So 1 out and 2 runners on now. We got the designated hitter, Flores, up to the plate. He has a strikeout and a flyout this game. Big swings in both at bats, however. Pitch. Got to be low and away for ball 1. Michigan trying to slow down this inning, really control the pace of play.
Of course, Only one out here. So a decent position for the Wolverines with runners on first and second.
Once again, we got Ramsey looking towards the base path before throwing home. Called strike, low and inside. It's a 1-1 count here with one out.
On base, Fry and Overtop taking themselves a decent lead. No one looking to second. And Ryan Ramsey controlling himself on the mound, focusing mostly on home plate.
Here's the throw. Fouled off into the netting. Going to be strike two. 1 ball, 2 strikes now with one out. We have Fry at second, so he's the lead runner. He only has 3 stolen base attempts this season, and 2 of them were caught stealing. So I can't imagine that he'll be going from second especially.
You know, Adam, though, we have seen some questionable calls for Michigan so far this game, so it wouldn't be the most unexpected.
Here's the pitch. Going to be up and inside for another ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 1 out.
Tito Flores looking to get his first on-base appearance of the game. 0 for 2 so far today. A strikeout and fly out to center field.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Looking back towards second, leg lift and throw. And that's fouled off again. So we got Flores staying alive in this one, trying to shake off a 3rd straight out. He had the strikeout and then the fly out.
And credit to Flores defending the box, just making sure that anything that could be called a strike is fouled off. Make Ramsey throw to you. And that seems to be Tito's mantra right now, because Ramsey will throw balls eventually. We've seen it so far today, and he's hoping for a few here.
Ramsey has a .567 slugging percentage, so when he makes contact, it goes far. Speaking of contact, this one's fouled off just barely into the stands beyond Michigan's dugout.
That one bounces off the rooftop of the dugout, and a happy Michigan fan recovers the ball. He got some cheers there. Big smile and holding the ball in the air.
Seems like most of Michigan's fans are seated along the first base line behind the Michigan dugout. And then Maryland filling up the rest of the gallery. I really love this exposed brick and like white columns. Very Washington of this stadium.
Oh, I do love this ballpark.
Line shot down the third base line, and it goes foul. Staying alive once again, another foul ball from Flores.
Flores really pulling that one down the left field line. If he put that one in fair territory and found a gap, that one could have scored at least Fry, maybe even Overtop if it was placed properly. We'll see if he can bring that power back to the plate. Count still 2-2. Now, you were talking about the stadium design. I love that you can watch the sunset over Capital One Field in the distance.
No disrespect to Capital One Field, but not exactly the prettiest football stadium in the Big Ten. A lot of exposed concrete.
Very
brutalist.
Yes, I was just going to say.
We got strike 3 now for Flores, and that'll bring up the second out of the inning.
And Flores goes down looking in a crucial situation for the Wolverines. And he'll bring us to 2 outs with runners still on first and second.
And we got a mound visit here. This is it of Ramsey. I wouldn't be surprised. He is quite high in the pitch count. He's at 104 after that at bat. So Flores was able, even though he got the strikeout looking, he brought up the pitch count quite a bit with the foul balls. But we'll see if that'll be it or if they'll give him the rest of this inning.
So you do wonder what they're going to go with here. I can't really see what good reason they would have for pulling him now. Buzz, our home plate umpire, will walk out to the mound looking to break this chat up. The whole infield is in.
The only reason I could think of is if it's like an arm thing, and it looks like he'll stay in.
Now, you have to wonder, what were they talking about? Riley Bertram due up. The shortstop is 0 for 2 today in batting .264 in the season. I wouldn't say that he necessarily brings anything special to the plate that Flores or any of the batters we saw earlier didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what the mound visit could have been discussed. Maybe the idea was to pull him out, but Ramsey convinced his coach to let him stay in. That has happened before, especially at the collegiate level. But I'm not too sure. Leg lift and the throw. Going to be inside for ball 1. So we got 2 outs with Bertram at the plate. The righty has a ground out and a fly out in this game. One ball, no strikes. Pitches in. Cold strike on the outside. Terrible framing job, but he got the call.
Schliger, not really. At least it didn't look like a strike to me. Ramsey, before that pitch, also spent quite a lot of time staring down Matt Fry at second base.
Yeah. So Maryland, they host Michigan today and then tomorrow. Both of those will be on WCBN. To close out their home schedule, they play James Madison, the out-of-conference opponent, just across the river in Virginia, but it'll be hosted here in College Park. And then they go on the road to Lafayette, Indiana, to play Purdue. Pitches in for a called strike, 1-1. Low and away, but it finds the corner. Bertram did not like that call.
Yeah, that's 2 tough calls in a row for Riley Bertram, the shortstop.
1-2 count with 2 outs.
And most importantly, 2 runners on.
There's a pitch. This one is lined and finds the gap into the outfield. Rounding third is Fry. He'll be safe at home. Throw into second will be awfully close, and he's out of there. Wow, Bertram got greedy. Let's see if the run counts. They're saying it will count.
Now, Chris Aline, the center fielder, bobbled that ball out in play. Likely the reason Bertram chose to round first. Of course, Overtop made it to third in time, and some fans here not happy.
We got the coach yelling at the umpire, and the fans are getting in it. I love the passion, but I don't think it's going to change any minds.
I do love the passion of college baseball.
Yeah. So with that, it'll be 1 run on 1 hit and 2 runners left on base. I guess 1 runner with the pickoff. And that'll do the top of the 5th. Michigan still trailing by 4, but at least they got something to speak of that inning.
They get 1, but another tough base running call from the Wolverines. Why is Burton racing to second on a close call when the Wolverines are already going to have someone on third? Let a player put it in play. Of course you want to be on second to get home, but if it's risky, just get the run from third. It's rare to have a runner on third in scoring position for the Wolverines, especially against a team like Maryland. And down 4, you really need them to score. Why risk it at 7? That's definitely a question I have for the program right now.
I think maybe Bertram saw the bobble in the outfield and thought it would be more leeway than he had to go. But that is an awfully disappointing into the inning as Michigan still trails by 4, gave up an unnecessary out. So it's going to be down to the wire between Maryland and Rutgers and who wins the Big Ten regular season crown.
Yeah. We'll have to see what happens here. Of course, Maryland looks like right now it's on its way to yet another win. I said that last night, however, when they were up 6 and the Wolverines tied that game up.
We got a pitch, and that'll be ball 1. Weston looks like he's in for the long haul. He's settled down recently. Ball 1 here. So the second pitch comes in inside for ball 2. Terrapins have yet to win a Big Ten championship. since joining the conference a little bit under a decade ago. In the outfield, it has a couple of ACC championships, most recently won in 1971. So it's been 50 years.
Now, when did the Terrapins move to the Big Ten? Was it?
I believe 2014 was their
2014,
first
yeah.
season. Let me confirm that. Yeah, 2014. Fall of 2014. So for baseball, it would be 2015.
Of course, the Big Ten, not so much a group of 10 anymore. And, of course, we have conference realignment coming up in a few years.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if Michigan or Big Ten is gobbling or getting gobbled. But you think a like a conference as successful as the Big Ten, they got to be one of the winners opposed to one of the losers in the realignment process.
You have to hope gobble. One thing I will say is when TV rights come back, can they please ditch Big Ten Plus and shift over to ESPN Plus? It is so much easier.
I agree, but Big Ten Network has an agreement with Fox Sports, which is through 2036 now. They just extended it.
Oh, then we're in for
so
the long
we're in
haul.
for the. You'll have kids at Michigan, and they'll still be using BTN Plus.
It's so easy to watch ACC baseball on ESPN Plus. It's just tough for exposure to the non-revenues.
I agree. And that's strike three right there. So Michigan gets an out for Cam Weston. Looking here in the bottom of the fifth. Got Keister walking back to the dugout. As Schlager now comes up to the plate. The leadoff hitter has had some success this game, including a 2 RBI single in the second, a fielder's choice in the third, and a walk in the first. So he's reached base in all 3 plate appearances. Pitch 1 is in for a ball, a little bit high.
Weston getting the full count strikeout a moment before.
Second pitch is in, another ball. So Weston got the strikeout, but then returning to his struggles to find the strike zone.
And of course, facing Schlager and the rest of the top of the lineup here, we'll see how he performs.
Now that one's a little bit inside, but they call it a strike. 2-1 count here with 1 out and no runners on.
And, of course, the top of the lineup for Maryland.
We got a rip into right field. Getting under, it's Elliott and makes the grab. Out number 2, and Weston is finding a little bit of a groove here in the bottom of the fifth.
So Luke Schlager with a .337 batting average, Chris Aline with a .332 batting average this season. You really see this top of the lineup is consistent at the plate through essentially the 5th and 6th batters in the high 200s, low 300s.
Aline is up with 2 outs here. He has a hit by pitch, a double, and a ground out. His first pitch comes in for a called strike. Next one is in foul down the first base line, keeping the base coach on his toes. So no balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs here, and Weston wants an early into this inning. Would be the first 1-2-3 inning of the game for the Wolverines. Ball is in high, so it is 1-2 count here.
Wolverines hoping that this is what their defense looks like for the rest of the game.
Dribbler to second base. Burden scoops it up. Underhand flip over to Marty for the 3rd out. So there we go. 1-2-3 inning. No runs, hits, or runners left on base. And we go into the top of the 6th inning.
Great scoop there from Burton at second. Just ending the inning quickly. Wolverines fans breathe a sigh of relief, hope that this is what the rest of the game looks like on the defensive end. Now it really does come down to the bats. How can Michigan perform? We're going to have a new pitcher in for Maryland starting this inning, Noah Mordick. Have to wait for the full pronunciation on that one. My apologies.
So we had 5 full innings, and at the moment he's on pace for the win. We'll have to see if that is maintained. But up by 6, he's in a pretty comfortable position. I'm a little bit mesmerized at the moment by this dizzy bat contest.
Anytime a contest is going on in play, I always get distracted by it. And I'm even worse at fields with video boards. If they're just doing a simple shuffle the baseball cap while I'm talking, I'm trying to keep track of it, and I always screws up the broadcast.
I know. Moments like that are when I wish we had video to show the fans. Not to show them the gameplay, to show them the hat shuffle, helmet shuffle in between innings.
No, that's it always gets me. If I ever want to pursue this professionally, I'm really going to have to learn to not look at the video board or the on-field promotion and just tune out the PA announcements, because it's so fun being at a ballpark. It's a great environment. You kind of get sucked into it here, too.
It is. So coming up for the Wolverines, we got Burden, Marty, and Rogers. So the bottom third of the lineup. I'm curious, now that we have a little bit of a break in play, we were talking about conference realignment and Big Ten potentially adding new members. Which institutions would you like to see the Big Ten add to their ranks?
Now, which one isn't in it? Iowa State, I think, is one
Iowa
that we
State's
could see
still
added.
in the Big 12, I believe.
Iowa State's one that we could see
That
join.
would make sense geographically, even closer than Nebraska, and has that rivalry with the Hawkeyes already.
It will never happen, but I would love to see Notre Dame for the in-conference football rivalry.
That would be huge. And hockey, too. They're already in the Big Ten.
But, of course, they're ACC the rest of the way. And then I would love to see Minnesota move back into Big Ten East so we could have the yearly Brown Jug game.
Those were a lot of fun. Pitches in, and it's going to be low and away. Ball one to Burton. Michigan still down by 4, so they have their work cut out for them. Second pitch is in, and it's low as well. 2-0 count.
Now, I'm assuming Notre Dame is your favorite game that we don't see every year for the football program.
I would probably go on that. Guess we won't be seeing it till 2033 now at this point.
Which is just terrible.
It is. I like playing Minnesota, too. I like playing Wisconsin. It's a shame we won't see either of them for a couple of seasons. Pitches in for a strike, 2-1 count. Here's a rip right to the shortstop, caught in the air by Shaw. He's been a brick wall all game, and it doesn't end there. 1 out now as we got Jake Marty stepping up, the number 8 batter.
Nice routine out there for Shaw, and that's where he's so consistent. He's all reliable for the Terrapins.
Shaw has struggled this game, this season rather, and this game. He has 2 ground outs, both to short. But this season, he's only batting 130. Pitch 1 is a fastball, and it's a split second behind it, but big swing on that one for Marty.
And we saw Marty in the lineup yesterday, but he hasn't been a consistent lineup member all season.
There's the leg lift, throw, strike 2, 0-2 count early. And Mrotic is already finding his groove early in this one. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him finish this one out.
Looked good so far. 1 out and 0-2 count already.
Leg lift and the throw, a little bit high, 1-2 count.
And now Marty's at first today. We did see Jack Van Remortel earlier on in the season at first a few times. They've been trying things out. I don't think the Wolverines have been satisfied with performance at first base yet this season.
Another foul ball. Staying alive, however, for Marty. He has no home runs and no triples with 1 double this season. So of his 3 hits, I guess only one of them was an extra base hit. 1/3. The pitch is fouled back into the netting once again, so staying alive and bringing up the pitch count for Marty.
Marty doing a good job protecting, like you just mentioned. Good to see him at least work Motrak a little bit on the mound as he just came in.
Here's a pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2nd out. Mrotrick is already finding a groove with 2 outs and no hits or walks given up. So we got the 9-hitter Rogers coming up.
Another member of the lineup who's in and out day by day in left field today, as he normally is when he's in the lineup. He's 0 for 1, earned himself a walk in the 4th, but grounded out in the 2nd.
Here's the pitch. Got to be a little bit high and inside for a ball. One 0 count. Here's the throw. Got to be another ball. I'm sure Maryland is eyeing to get out the 9-hitter here, so they won't have to face the top of the order this inning.
The Wolverines. Oh, ball 3 there. Wolverines. Actually, I was going to say the Wolverines hoping this inning continues, but Adam, do you think you're in a better position to just restart top of the lineup with 2 outs already?
Yeah, that's a good question. Sometimes, like, you never want outs, and we have a ball 4 there, so I guess that's settled.
Yeah.
But sometimes you do want just a clean slate with the top of the order, especially someone who could get on base as much as Elliott can. 4.48 OBP.
And Elliott's tough because he's not really a home run hitter, so he might get on, but just like one more out, which, you know, outs happen. They're going to happen even in the top of the order. If Elliott gets on base, but then someone gets out, that's a wasted hit that you could have seen more people in the top of the order have. And Rogers takes himself a big lead at first.
Rogers, 7 stolen bases, has yet to be caught stealing. Pitch 1 is in for a ball.
With 2 outs, we might see Rogers look to add to that right now. Of course, he gets out on the steal. We'll have Elliott back up to that in the top of the 6th.
We got Rotic. He's a right-hander, so a little bit harder to pick off at first. But he still attempted right there. 1 ball, no strikes. Looking towards home, and a little bit of a jump, but no go, and that's going to be ball 2 as it comes in a little bit high.
Fastball outside would have been real easy for Schliger behind the plate to grab and just toss down to second base. So Rogers making a safe call there to return to first.
Rogers dancing a bit on the base path. Pitches in high once again, so 3 straight balls now.
That's 7 straight, I believe.
Or 7 straight, but yeah, 3 on this at bat. So I guess after getting 2 quick outs, Rotic has struggled a little bit.
This brings an interesting change to the game.
And ball 4 going to add another base runner. So 2-out rally for the Wolverines. They got Stewart, the power hitting player, stepping up to the plate.
Down 4, Stewart with a home run has the chance to cut this deficit to 1. So a little bit of an excitement over here on the Michigan side of the grandstand. We're going to have a mound visit from Schliger. He'll just chat it up with Motrek on the mound. And Buzz behind home will walk out, look to break up this mound visit.
So 2 quick outs, but unable to finish the inning and put it away. As the center fielder, Stewart, steps up. He has 2 walks and a strikeout, but 2 runs. So if he gets on base, so far he's scored.
We'll see if Stewart can bring some of that magic he normally holds to the base path today.
Leg lift and the throw. Strike 1. A little bit on the outside corner.
Motrek's first strike in 9 pitches.
Here's the next throw. This one's lined to shortstop. Picks it up and gets the out unassisted. Great heads-up play by Shaw. Doesn't even bother throwing it on the run. Tagged second for the Force. And we have 2 runners left on base at the end of the 6th inning with no runs given up. Pardon me, middle of the 2nd inning.
So the Wolverines strand 2 once again, which they seem to enjoy doing at this rate in the game. And now we'll bring up Matt Fry in the top of the 7th. So top of the 7th, you'll go through my Overtop and Flores at least. And then it looks like by the top of the 9th, if the Wolverines are unable to finish it off, at the minimum, we'll start with Rogers. If someone gets on base, we have an out, maybe closer to the top of the lineup or a little through the top of the lineup. So still some opportunities here for top of the lineup batters to come in for the Wolverines. We'll see how they perform. And, of course, it really all does come down to Cameron Weston's pitching. Can the Wolverines hold the Terrapins at 10 through the next 4?
So here's a little bit of a pattern we got. In the second inning, Weston gave up 3 runs. In the third inning, gave up 2. Fourth inning, he gave up 1. Fifth inning, he gave up nothing. Does that mean he's going to give up -1 runs this inning? I don't know. I'm just following the mathematics here. But Weston is still on the mound, which I found a little bit surprising, but he has gotten into a bit of a groove.
The mind of an econ minor at work.
Yeah. Just following the regression, making sure things stay on trend. Earlier during this break, this game, we were talking about maybe Big Ten realignment. I'm wondering about maybe like West Virginia joining the conference.
That could be interesting. In realignment, it's funny because we really could see a drastic shift.
Because what I see, the weakest of the Power 5 right now is the Big 12, losing Texas and Oklahoma. LaRusso stepping up and fouling it back. So with them leaving to the SEC, I wouldn't be surprised if the other conferences gobble up the remains. And what would make sense for the Big Ten, Tad? There's 2 teams. You mentioned Iowa State, and I think West Virginia would fit right in against Penn State and Maryland and Rutgers and Ohio State. It's geographically makes sense. It's a big state research university. So we got strike 2 here for LaRusso.
That would fit well. Makes much more sense in the Big Ten than a Northwestern does, in my personal opinion at least.
Northwestern has a history, but yeah, I completely agree. Being a big public state university, they got the football program. Their basketball program hasn't been terrible. They could probably fit in.
And then, of course, the non-revenues at a school like that, they're all decent.
Yeah. Ooh, I could feel that pain from up here. LaRusso fouls it off his shin and hobbles over out of the batter's box for a moment here. 1 ball, 2 strikes now here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
With conference realignment, also more on in the fall on a DSR, Daily Sports Report on 88.3 FM. We'll speak more looking at Big Ten hockey because they'll have a chance to expand there as well, just with different divisions.
Here's the pitch, and that's going to be strike 3. Ring him up. Weston back in the groove.
LaRusso goes down looking. Now, any non-Power 5 teams you think that could make the jump?
That's a great question. I would have thought Cincinnati would be a great call, but they just recently got picked up by the Big 12. So at least for now, I think they're out of contention. But I think they would fit in great, especially with OSU. Shaw's up, and he finds a liner in the gap. Michigan had a deep shift, and he made them pay in between Burden and Marty. Burden was practically playing at the bag at second base.
He didn't even try for it.
I think Cincinnati would make a lot of sense. It's a big school, has a great football program, fits natural rival to OSU and to even like Indiana, I think, is not too far away. Notre Dame, too.
You think Notre Dame will finally join a conference? My guess is no.
The money's too big.
But
to be fair, I didn't think BYU would ever join, and here they are joining the Big 12.
Notre Dame, though, I'd argue that not being in a conference might have cost them CFB contention this year.
They always say that, but I don't think they were that great of a team anyway. And I think if they played a Big Ten conference schedule, they would have lost 1 or 2 more games. They had to face off against either Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State, Michigan. They would have lost 1. We got a foul ball down the third base line. We got Scheffler up with 1 out. 1-2 count. There was talk of Illinois getting a hockey program to be Big Ten certified. I don't think anything happened of it, but something to keep in mind. Pitch is low and outside for another ball. 2-2 count now.
I'd love to see an expansion of Big Ten hockey. That'll be exciting. And I'm very excited for coverage this fall. They lost a lot of players, but they should still have a good team led by Hughes, frankly.
Michigan, it's a blue blood in hockey. So we get another ball there to make it full. So they'll always be good. They're like the Alabama of hockey. They get the best recruits, especially from abroad in Canada.
They also just pull a crowd. And Michigan's unique in the fact that UMass is just as good oftentimes, but they don't pull the environment that Michigan does at Yost.
High and inside for ball 4. 2 base runners on with 1 out in the bottom of the 6th.
So tough position for the Wolverines. We were talking about how Cameron Weston might have finally found his stride. Well, I'll take that back here. First and second, only an out. The Terrapins once again looking ready to strike. At least maybe at a turtle's pace. It's been a while since they put one on the board.
Oh.
But that -1 run you are calling doesn't really look like it will happen here.
Yeah. We'd have to go into the rule book to make that one possible. But as of now, with 2 base runners on, it could be positive runs given up this inning as the first pitch is in high for a ball to Costes. Yeah, I agree. Notre Dame and Cincinnati would be the 2 big ones. I'll fight for Iowa State as well. Swing and a miss. He was going for the fences on that one. 1-1 count. Split second too late. I'd fight for West Virginia too. I think those make sense in the Big Ten geographic footprint. No disrespect to Maryland, but this is a natural ACC university. I know like the TV money was very big for them to join, but still feels a bit unnatural. Same with Rutgers too.
Yeah, of course, tempting for the universities, and it's nice to have them. Rutgers and Maryland are two universities that you like to see competition with. It's great to watch Michigan play them, especially for us East Coasters. It means easy access to some Michigan games. Yeah,
and we get Big Ten Network in our cable channels too. Swing and a miss, and that'll be strike 3. Lost his balance on that one. He was gunning for the fences for Costes. He has 14 home runs on the season. So he could send it flying if he connects, just unable to do it on that at bat. 2 outs now. So we got 3 hits on the day for Schmarzlack. 2 base runners on with 2 outs. Pitch 1 is in, low and inside for a ball.
Schmarzlack had himself a day. He's 3 for 3 with an RBI single in the second. Reached second in the third, and another single in the fourth.
Getting set is Weston. Leg lift and the throw. Strike called, 1-1 count. I'm curious, is this it of Weston after this inning? He's already pitched, let's see, 4 full innings already because he came in with 2 outs. And Michigan does have 2 pitchers warming up. I won't be surprised if they pull him after this one.
A lot of action on the bases from the Terrapins.
Weston in the zone as he fires it in, and it skips off the plate for another ball. 2-1 count.
So 2-1 the count, 2 on, 2 outs.
Looking home, leg lift and steps off.
Quick reset here for Weston on the mound. He'll take a moment with the 2-1 to Bobby Schmarzlack. The 7th batter in the lineup will be great to save 8 and 9 for the next inning. We've got plenty more to go here from Turtle Stadium.
It's a pitch, swing and a miss, going to even it up 2-2 with 2 outs now. you're totally right about safing 8 and 9, especially if you put in a new pitcher. I know they get the warm-up pitches, but kind of like some live warm-up, too, against some of the weaker parts of the lineup. But Maryland's into the lineup isn't awfully weak. They got 286 batting 8 and actually above 300 in the 9-hitter. This one's hit right to the shortstop, picks it up, throws it to first. It's awfully close, and he's out. So Marty grabs it in the nick of time. It's a 50-50 play, and this time it went towards the defender. So that'll do it. No runs and 1 hit, no errors, and 2 runners left on base. They're playing Pump It Up here, which is one of Michigan's songs. I think it's kind of ironic, even though it's getting Michigan fans in the jam.
The Maryland people around us, at least some of the Maryland staff, seem to be enjoying it too. It looks like they're playing this one out of personal preference.
I agree. It's they can only play this because they're up by 4 right now. If they were down by 4, you can't be playing the visiting team's theme song.
A little bit of a roast here over the PA. I do like that aspect of baseball.
Yeah.
They definitely come at each other through these like slide, like slick jabs over the PA system here.
Oh, absolutely. For games that last 2-3+ hours, you gotta keep the fans entertained.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're already 2:20 into this game, and we're only about to enter the top of the 7th.
We've had a lot of offense this game, though.
Yeah.
So.
Moving slow, and when Michigan holds Maryland, they don't do it quickly, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Michigan's not out of it, though. They're only down 4. I know when you look at the scoreboard, you see 10 versus Michigan 6, but if you get hot, you could easily come back. As we saw, Maryland got 7 in the bottom of the 2nd. Now we're just off a couple of big swings. Michigan has no trouble finding the fences in today's game.
Definitely not, and with Matt Fry, the 3rd batter in the rotation, leading us off here. He's 1 for 1 today, earned himself, 1 for 1, that home run hit by a pitch in the 5th, walked in the 1st, the home run in the 3rd. We'll see if he can get the bats started for Michigan. All he needs to do is get on base with some of our best batters coming up in just the next few batters here in the rotation.
So here we go. Fry, as Mrotek comes out for his 2nd inning. Wind up and the pitch. Fastball right down the middle for strike 1. Beautiful thrown. We got 0-1 count, but no outs here. Leg lift and the throw. This one's fouled off. Sun is finally starting to set at 8:23 local time. Those listening back in Michigan, College Park is a lot further east than Ann Arbor. Sunset happens a little bit before, even though both are Eastern daylight time. But the lights are turning on now, making this a true night game, I suppose. This one is ripped into right center, finds some real estate in the turf, rounding first base. He will go. Gonna be close, and he'll be out by a mile, actually.
Out by a mile, and Fry, what are you doing? The Wolverines need 4.
Wow. I respect the guts. Didn't even slow down, but that's not how you erase a deficit. Big hit, but completely eliminated the momentum.
2 running errors. I mean, not an error, but two mishaps by the Wolverines here in terms of running. And just a great arm on Chris Aline in center field to get that ball in quickly. But down 4, the Wolverines need base runners. And with no outs, stick to first, take second. Eventually, you'll get there. The last thing you want to do is go down running.
So that will be a hit. First hit of the game given up by Mrotek. But I guess he's fine with it because no base runners, so no harm, no foul. Pitches in for a called strike. It's now 1-1 as Obertop steps in. It's a double, a ground out, and a walk in this game. That is tough for Michigan to have the chance to have one of their best hitters, Obertop, up to the plate with a base runner. And now 1 out instead and no base runner. Big reversal.
And we've just seen missteps on the base paths from the Wolverines starting in the very 2nd inning here. No, that's the 1st inning, in fact. When they had a chance to score 4, they ended up scoring 2. We saw someone thrown out a moment ago, and we saw someone thrown out a few innings ago. So all base runners that the Wolverines could have had, but instead they're playing risky, and the gains just haven't come.
Yeah. And if you add that up, that's 4 mishaps in Michigan. How much are they down by? 4 runs. Not to say they would have scored on all of them, but it certainly adds up with the 2-2 count here for that foul tip. This one is grounded over to the second baseman. Keister throws it over to Costes for the out. 2 down quickly here in the top of the 7th.
And I won't lie, that one might have turned 2 if Fry was on first.
Fair enough. It was hit hard, but not too hard, right at the second baseman. He didn't even have to move. He could have flipped it, still in his crouch probably. Leg lift and the throw, fouled back for Flores. He has 2 strikeouts and a fly out, but he's been swinging big this whole game.
Oh, yeah, love to see him get a homer here. Cut that deficit to 3. That foul ball back behind us headed towards the Student Union, which I did happen to check out after the game yesterday. I have to say, great dining options.
They have, I believe, it's been 5 years since I've been in there, but I think a Chick-fil-A and a McDonald's.
They do have a Chick-fil-A. That was the first one I noticed.
We got pitch in and low and away for a ball. That was my favorite part about coming to Maryland's campus was the Chick-fil-A, because this was before Chick-fil-A really expanded to the Mid-Atlantic. This was like one of the few ones in the area. It was in the Student Union at Maryland. It was a real treat coming here. Pitches in, and that's going to be low for a ball, but just barely. Fans don't like that. No call.
Tough one there. Now, you talk any more about Chick-fil-A, it's going to be like I'm calling a game with Amir Bektash.
That is his favorite restaurant. On several road trips, he made us go out of our way to pick some up. Wind up and the pitch. And that's going to be a called strike, maybe a bit of a makeup call there as that's low and away.
Now, at our spring banquet, what did he get? Did he get some Chick-fil-A award? Am I correct
I
there?
gave him a gift card for Chick-fil-A. Yes, right, from the whole station. And then we had the other senior got, Charlie Goodwin, a Chipotle gift card, which is a running joke that is way more complicated for me to explain here. So we got a little bit of a bloop right to the pitcher, underhanded toss, and that'll be in for out number 3. Michigan goes down 1-2-3 here in the top of the 7th. No runs, hits, errors, or runners left in base as Michigan still trails by 4. And they're going to need to make something happen. Only 6 outs left for the Wolverines.
Yeah, like you said, nothing from the Wolverines. We should see the top of the order come up once more, likely in the top of the 9th. But the current rate that we've seen them, Elliott's 0 for 2. Stewart 0 for 2. Fry's had himself a game. He's 2 for 2. Obertop 1 for 3. Tito Flores 0 for 4. Riley Bertram, Ted Burton at least, they're 1 for 3, 1 for 3. Together, Jake Marty 0 for 3, Jordan Rogers 0 for 1, although he has drawn quite some walks today, made his way on base. At least I want to say that's 2 other times. He only had 3 at-bat appearances so far in the game, but mid-lineup is performing just as well as the top today. So we'll see if anything comes there, and then of course we will get back to the top by the 9th.
We got a friendly T-shirt toss here in the crowd, getting fans of all ages up on their feet. Always fun to see that happen. Here in the 7th inning stretch. Oh, wow, my father in attendance just caught a T-shirt. Looks like they're giving it out to anyone, even Michigan fans. That's a souvenir through sitting through this tough game. Those just tuning in, Michigan's really trailing 10-6. But both teams' offense has quieted down recently. Michigan started off with 5 runs in the first 3 innings, while Maryland had 9 in the first 3 and 10 in the first 4. It's been quiet for both teams since then. We got a new pitcher coming in for the Wolverines. Logan Wood. 0-2 on decisions. As of now, he won't get a decision either way. Only 14 innings pitched this season, with an ERA of 13. So not great when your ERA is almost higher than your innings pitched, especially when you got 14 innings pitched. Petrutz steps up to the plate. He has a hit by pitch, which scored a run, a single, which had 2 RBIs, and then a ground out. We got the 8-9-1 up to the plate. Zoned in is Wood. Throws and fires. Dribbler up to the pitcher. He fumbles it, and he'll be safe. Wood was in the right position, but unable to scoop it up. Let's see if that's a hit or an error. I believe that'll be an error if the scoreboard is any indication. That's tough. Opportunity to get a quick out, and Michigan unable to cement it. So now no outs and 1 runner on as Keister comes back up. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts and a flyout. Leg lift and the throw. This one's going to be low and inside, ball 1. Logan Wood trying to make up for that error earlier in the game. Here's the pitch. Right down the middle, strike 1. 1-1 count here with a base runner on. Staying pretty glued to first base. Petruz already does not have a single stolen base attempts this season. So I would be doubtful that he moves very much. Fires it in low and inside for ball 2. Two 2-1 count now as Wood quickly looks to recover. Southpaw back on the rubber. We have a leg lift and the throw. This one's going to be just barely low. Ball 3, 3-1 count now. Trying to redeem himself from that error. We got the hitter's count. 3-1 pitch, here it is. This one's a liner right to shortstop, double play ball. Flips it over second for the out, and he hangs on to it. So 1 out there on the fielder's choice. Bertram over to Burton, but Burton hangs on. It would have been close at first. I'm kind of surprised he didn't attempt.
It's an odd choice, but Burton might have just decided why risk a passed ball on this throw. He clearly thought that it would be too close and runner would be safe, so hold on to it, prevent any errors, and hold the runner at first with 1 out here in the top of the 7th.
I'm curious if Marty's drops early in the game was any factor in that.
Yeah, definitely interesting. He's been looking better since, but he also hasn't seen much action.
So with 1 out, we still have 1 runner on as Keister replaces his teammate on first base. First pitch is in for a strike, 0-1. That was a little bit low, but it was looking. Keister only has 2 stolen base attempts on the season, but both were successful. It would be very doubtful to see him steal in a game like this, a situation like this.
Up ahead with a chance to score some more with only 1 run. Why risk it?
Yeah. Getting set on the mound is Wood. Fires home, fouled back into the netting. It's going to be an 0-2 count. Still got 2 pitchers warming up in the makeshift bullpen, which is in play. Wood looks home. Gets set on the rubber. Quickly throws. Awfully close, and that's going to be a ball.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Could have gone either way, but that one goes to the batter, so he'll live to fight another day. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out with a runner on. Michigan still trailing. Neither team has scored in the last 2 full innings.
Definitely an offensive slowdown here.
Ooh, I could hear that from up here. Fastball right into the batter's back. Schliger takes first base.
That one must have stung. He'll take one for the team. And, of course, just a tough pitch. Logan Wood will send Schliger to first. Already with Keister on, or not Keister, excuse me, Ian Petrotz on second.
It is Keister because it was a fearless choice, right?
Oh, excuse me.
Petrotz got thrown out at second, yeah. And we got a mound visit here, too, so I would imagine they'd let Wood go the rest of this inning. Would be odd to pull him after only 3 batters, but maybe it's a lefty-righty thing.
Yeah, this will be interesting, and it looks like they will bring in a new pitcher.
Got number 40 coming in.
It's going to be Michael Boma, or Booma, rather.
So this is this the 5th pitcher of the game?
Check you on that 1 second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. Oh, wait. So number 40, excuse me, I was looking at the wrong side. That's going to bring up Angelo Smith, the pitcher for the Wolverines. I was looking at the Maryland roster. Rookie mistake on my part. Apologies for that one.
So we have 5 pitchers, which actually isn't a lot, considering one of the pitchers only went 5 pitches, and 4 of them were balls and 1 was a hit by pitch.
Yeah, but this is a reflection of the greater issues we're seeing in the Michigan bullpen. It's worth noting that yesterday we saw, I believe, at least 3. Versus Wright State, they used 8, and they used 6 in their loss, 10-3 to Xavier on Tuesday. Of course, the Wright State was a blowout win, 21-9, but still, you use 8 pitchers who give up 9 runs. You give up 10 runs using 6 pitchers to Xavier. The Wolverines have just struggled with their bullpen and defensively as a whole all season long, and their bats are hit or miss.
Yeah.
You know, they put 21 up on Wright State. They only score 3 versus Xavier. They've got 6 right now at Bob Turtle Smith Stadium, and yet still down 4 because defensively they cannot hold teams.
After this game, tune in tomorrow as Michigan plays Maryland in the final game of this series. Owen and I will be back on the call, scheduled right now for a 1 p.m. First pitch. And then Michigan returns home to Ann Arbor for a single game against in-state rival Michigan State. WCBN will have that. And then finally, a 3-game series versus Rutgers, as Michigan will have a chance to face off against the best team in the Big Ten.
The Scarlet Knights come to town. Now, I don't see a ranking next to their name, which is interesting if they are the best in the Big Ten.
I believe they're ranked 14th, last I checked. Usually they don't update it on this website until like the day of the game or the day of the series, just so it's not out of date. So Lean steps on in. We have 1 out and 2 runners on for the new pitcher. Got Angelo Smith. He has 12.1 innings pitched, as the first one is a ball inside.
Put some heat on that one at least.
Yeah. That's one thing about Turtle Stadium. They do not have a radar gun on the scoreboard like Michigan has back at Fisher. Pitch 2 is a swing and a miss. 1-1 count.
Got him with the off speed there. Aline was chasing after that one a little early.
1-1 count with 2 2 base runners. Got Smith looking back and then firing in. It's going to be a little bit low for ball 2.
Too low. Looked pretty good from up here, however. So nice to see Angelo Smith. At least he's in the right area. He's missed twice, but both have been close.
Smith has a 1-1 record on the season as he fires in. A little bit inside, going to make it a 3-1 count. Just missing every part of the zone. Up top, down low, to the side. 3-1 count with 1 out and 2 runners on.
A walk here is devastating for the Wolverines.
And that's going to be a changeup right at kneecap level for a called strike. So it's going to be a full count now with 1 out. Here's the pitch. And it's high, going to load the bases. Now got runners on each one.
So bases loaded with only 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. You know, I don't see right now how the Wolverines come out of this inning without giving up any runs.
Yeah, a double play could do it. Dribbler up the middle. We got the infield playing deep as if to field a double play. It's a pitch. This is low and away for ball 1, not even close.
Regrettably, at the plate is Nick LaRusso, the power hitter, who is 0 for 3 today. And with a batting average of .320, he is due up.
Here's a pitch. And this one is a skip right into the glove of the catcher. So 2 straight balls to lead off this at-bat. 2-0 count with bases loaded. It's the last thing the Wolverines want to do is walk in a run.
That's unforgivable at this rate. You know, down 4.
Pitch is in. Still low, just barely missed.
Oh, man.
Umpire took a long time looking at it, but not quite enough.
You'd think the ump would give you that one.
You would think so, too, especially if this were like Little League and the umpire wanted to get home, he'd give him that one.
Oh, yeah.
I think at college, they don't care. 3-0 pitch, and that one skips in. That's a walk, and Maryland takes their first run since the 4th inning.
And that's just the worst way to give up a run. The Wolverines' bullpen woes continue.
Are we having another pitching change? Got a mound visit coming up. So there we go. Potentially Angelo Smith only facing several batters. Only facing 2 batters, but after walking both of them, looks like he'll be pulled.
And this is emblematic of Michigan's struggles as a whole.
Yeah.
Like, pitchers come in, go, and they give up walks, they give up runs, and the bullpen just, outside of a few key starters who have held it down all season, they can't keep the opponents off the board.
They can't, and Michigan's offense is there. They got 6 runs already this game, including 2 blasts. They just, bullpen isn't strong enough to support the offense. Interesting music choice to play Don't Stop Believing here when the home team is up by 5, excuse me, and the opposing team is making a pitching change.
So Avery Goldensoft will come in for the Wolverines here. You know, maybe this Don't Stop Believing is just the boost Michigan needs. With 1 out and the bases still loaded, down 5 now.
Now that's tough, but facing the worst possible runner or batter to start off your pitching outing, we got Shaw, who has 2 home runs and a single for a total of 4 RBIs and 3 hits in this one. Shaw's had a series he'll never forget, 3 home runs already, and he still has another 9 innings to play tomorrow and 2 more to play today.
We'll see if he can add to that at the moment. You know, of course, we do cheer for Michigan, but it's great to see some players have a breakout series, really racking those hits. Just right now, not the moment the Wolverines need. Down 5, bases loaded. Avery Goldensof in his warm-up pitches, putting some heat on the ball and hitting his marks. Question is, will it transfer over? The Wolverines have made some questionable decisions today. I'd argue that the biggest of which is pulling Jacob Denner so early into the game. That pull really came to hurt the Wolverines, as Cameron Weston would go on to give up quite a few runs. I don't have his full the runs he was responsible for in front of me, and then Logan Wood came in for a moment, Angelo Smith in for a moment. Finally, we'll choose Avery Goldensof. Will he last through the inning? Still remains to be seen. With bases loaded, the pressure's on. Just one walk costs you a run.
Yeah, so no leeway, and you're facing the hottest hitter in Maryland's lineup. This could get out of hand very quickly for the Wolverines. Shaw steps into the batter's box. Here's the leg lift and the throw. Swing and a miss, strike one.
And Shaw is swinging for the fences with 2 homers already today.
Yeah, Shaw, he only has 16 on the season. Only, but guess he's had 3. At the rate he's been playing the past 2 games, he should have like 40. Pitches in, and that one's going to be a low for a ball.
You know, Shaw's a guy where if you just leave it hanging, if the ball comes in, it's hanging up there, he will get a piece of it. He has the strength behind him. He bats clean up for a reason. And he's taking advantage of Michigan's weak bullpen.
Absolutely. As we got pitch in, and this one's sent deep. It's number 3 as that goes long into right field over the fence. Grand slam for Shaw. 4th home run in the past 24 hours. Wow.
I don't believe it. He's having himself.
That was a no-doubter. That's like Prince Fielder. That's like David Ortiz. That's like Ryan Howard. When you see the crack of the bat, it's gone. You don't even have to look at it.
Yeah, he's having himself a Joe Stewart type day.
Joe Stewart type day. 3 home runs. Wow. I hate to jinx it, but I did call a home run.
Exactly.
I'm like, he was due.
Yeah.
And you were talking about it too, leaving a ball high in the zone, and he'll send it.
Yeah, and Goldensof does it on his 2nd pitch of the showing here.
I guess if there's any silver lining, Goldensof only is credited for 1 earned run, which is the batter.
Oh, God.
Even though that is a grand slam.
Now,
this game is out of hand for the Wolverines, already down 9.
So down 9. I don't want to give up hope, but even if Goldensof underperforms, do you just leave him in the rest of the game, accept that you're going to lose the series, and come back looking for that final win tomorrow?
That's what I would do as a coach, but I don't think that's the philosophy of Bakic. He likes fighting hard. We have a ball hit into right. Going to be close. Elliott gets under it, tracks it down for out number 2. So we now got Costes up to the plate. Looking most home runs in the Big Ten. And let's see, I think Shaw now leads the Big Ten in home runs. Wow. He had 14 coming into today, and he just hit 3 more, so he's tied for the lead with his teammate, Aline.
And that's, that speaks to Maryland. They're all over the leaderboards here for Big Ten, whether it's hitting, pitching, slugging, whatever. They're on top of it.
Maryland has 4 batters with over 12 home runs this season. One of them is at the plate right now with Costes. He has 14 home runs this season. Struggled so far today. 1 for 4 with a strikeout and 2 groundouts.
Did, however, reach first on a single past the shortstop.
There's a pitch. Going to be a called strike down low.
At this point, that one You know, I think that one actually could have gone either way, and I'd expect, even at this point, a few mercy calls from the umpire.
Yeah, I think the Maryland fans might want some mercy calls at this point, too. Up by 9. Changeup is in. Beautiful. Finds the bottom half of the zone. Broke at the right perfect time. And that's going to be a 1-2 count now with 2 outs. The bottom of the 7th.
This game is taking its time. Only in the bottom of the 7th. 2 hours, 50 minutes in.
And that's awfully close, a little bit outside. Even it up at 2 apiece. For those just tuning in, it's 15-6. 5 runs scored in this half inning already by the Terrapins. Michigan started off hot, but unable to maintain it, and their bullpen has given them no favors. Wind up in the 2-2 pitch. Low and inside. Gonna make the count full. Wind up in the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Now get Michigan out of the inning. Golden Soft is not happy. Who would be after surrendering a grand slam to one of the best hitters in the Big Ten?
But you know what? Shaw is 4 for 5 today. It's not just Golden Soft. It's Michigan as a whole. And these are problems that the team is really going to have to address as they look towards the Big Ten playoffs. And not much time to do it. They got one more game against Michigan. They got that home quick one-game rivalry matchup against State. And then, of course, the 3-game homestand against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, and then it's tournament time.
Yeah, Michigan playing in Omaha as always for the Big Ten tournament. And I don't think at this rate they'll qualify for the College World Series, but if they get hot, especially if they sweep the 14th ranked Scarlet Knights, that could provide the case. And they could get the auto bid, too, so there's still hope for postseason life for the Wolverines.
Now, at this moment, however, it's just hard to see them doing so against the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm pulling up the regional locations for the softball, see where Michigan's softball team might land, if they haven't announced yet. Oh, they haven't have the regions announced, but the finals are going to be in Oklahoma City as always. So we'll keep you updated. Tomorrow is actually the selection show, 7 p.m. on ESPN2. See where Michigan Wolverines will go after a heartbreaking extra innings loss today against Nebraska.
Not the best season or the season that Coach Hutchinson was looking for from our softball program, as they did drop a few that they should have won, but plenty to be proud of from the Wolverines as they look towards the NCAA tournament. It's Riley Bertram leading off the inning for the Wolverines here, down 9 in the top of the 8th.
Here's the pitch. This is fouled back into the parking lot. Going to be an 0-1 count. Maryland scored 5 runs last inning, extending their lead to 9 total. It's 15-6, and Michigan is all but out of this one. Pitch is in, and that one's going to be a little bit low. 1-1 count. Bertram had the RBI single in the 5th, but beyond that, 2 groundouts. Pitches in high, has a lot of heat, but can't find the zone. 2-1 count.
So a quick stat from Jake here to my left. 3 pitchers got earned runs from that grand slam.
That is Michigan pitching in a nutshell right there.
Wow.
Coach Bakic's coaching style, let them play a couple batters, pull them, load the bases, put someone else in. Wow. That last pitch was a strike to even up at 2-2, and this one is popped up in the air. Not quite enough. Getting under it is Jmarlak, and he gets the out. One out here as Bertram is returning to the dugout.
Second baseman, Ted Burton.
We'll see Ted Burton come back up. He's 1 for 3 today, batting .254 so far this season. Had the home run in the second inning, helping expand the Wolverines' lead at the moment. Remember when they were up 3-0? Wasn't that fun?
It was a lot of fun. Hopefully tomorrow could have more of that, but we'll have to see. Leg lift and the throw. It's going to be low and outside for ball 1. It's actually quite a nice night after all the rain this afternoon. It's a great temperature.
It turned out beautiful.
Yeah. Leg lift and the throw. Ball 2. 2-0 count. Yep. After 8 months in Ann Arbor, I am enjoying this 60-degree weather. Could be in a tank top right now. This is like Miami Beach to me.
Well, the problem is Michigan leaves right as Ann Arbor also gets beautiful.
I know. Sick joke played by the schedule makers.
They really want you to pay for that third summer semester.
Yeah.
We did get a beautiful sunset here in College Park. Maize and blue sky out over left field.
Going to be a 2-1 count now for Burton. And another strike looking. It's going to be 2-2. One out here, and Michigan offense has been completely dormant since the 5th inning. Leg lift and the throw. Swing and a miss. You're saying he caught it. He was trying to run on the drop third strike, but I think Schliger caught it without it even bouncing, is what the umpire said.
And you can't blame Burton there for running. You know, the moment you think you might have a chance, you got to go, especially down 9. This is a team that doesn't quit. It's good to see them not quitting, and you need base runners. So you can't have any other sloppy base running. Every possible opportunity, you need to be running to try to get as close to home as possible.
So 2 outs. We have Marty stepping up. He has 2 ground outs to short and a strikeout in this game. First pitch is in for a ball. Michigan down to their final 4 outs of this game. Here's the throw. A little bit high. 2-0 count. Maryland will probably be rooting for Michigan after this series concludes, because if Michigan's able to get a win or 2 against the Scarlet Knights, that's huge for the regular season title for Maryland. Pitches in, and it looks like it skimped off of Marty's back, and he'll take first base. So 2 out base runner now. Now Jordan Rogers steps in.
If Rogers follows the pattern as the rest of the Wolverines and is out here, it will bring up the top of the lineup to start off the 9th inning. Perhaps we'll see some action from the Wolverines there as they look to close this 9-run deficit.
Coming into the bottom of the 7th inning, Michigan was down 4, which isn't ideal, but it's surmountable. Being down 9, that's insurmountable in 1 inning and 1 out.
It is.
You need every player in the lineup to get a run on average. Without 3 and 4 outs to do that, it's happened before, so I won't say never, but I am not very optimistic at this point.
That is fair. That's fair.
Ball 1 as we got pitch 2 coming in, and that's a called strike. Evens up the count at 1-1. Looking in. We got the pitcher, Rotek. It looks like he'll finish out the game. Pitch is in, and that's going to be another ball.
Rotek's been doing well himself. I mean, he's not always hitting his targets, but he's striking out batters, or at least Wolverines are putting it in play and then getting out on the base path.
Fouled off into the air, goes into foul territory beyond the netting. So it's going to be 2-2 now. Yeah, Rotek, he has 2.2 innings pitched and only 1 hit surrendered. So arguably an even better outing than the starter.
Now, that glass breaking sound they play over the PA, when I worked for a summer league team as the on-field MC, every time a ball went out, they'd play glass break, and I had to say, better call Newport Glass. Whoa.
This is a blast into center field on the warning track, getting under a lane, and he makes the out. So no runs, no hits, and only one runner left on base with no errors. Michigan down to their final 3 outs here on this Saturday night baseball.
Now, I know you called it insurmountable, but the Wolverines will start off with the top of their lineup. And 9 runs, it's been done before. Often? No, not at all. But why not have some hope? We've got a little bit more baseball to see, and I'm sure the Wolverines will be working towards those 9 runs. So here's to hoping.
Last season, I was calling a game with fellow broadcaster Alex Drain. Michigan went into the bottom of the 9th at home at Fisher against Michigan State, trailing 8-0. And I was packing up my stuff, getting ready to go. I'm like, oh, this is it. Michigan gets 1 run. And I'm like, okay, we could break out that goose egg. At least they avoid the shutout. They get another 2. I'm like, oh, they're making this interesting. Before I know it, that base is loaded, down 3, and they hit a walk-off grand slam. So it's happened before, but it doesn't happen often. And if it does, we'll be in for a treat on this Saturday night.
We really will. Chances are the Maryland Terrapins, they've got this game under control. Chances are they don't have it here, especially against a defense as strong as Maryland proves each time and time again. However, might as well keep hope. We've seen it before. Here's to hoping we see it again. It's Michigan baseball. You never know what will happen. Of course, the most important thing they can do right now with Avery Goldensoth back on the mound is hold the Terps. No more than 15 runs.
Yeah. This could be the last 3 outs. Bearing some miracle, we won't see the bottom of the 9th.
You know, it's not that much to ask a collegiate baseball team to hold a team at 15 runs, is it?
I don't think so, but then again, Michigan has had some high-scoring games as we get a hit into left center, find some turf, and we got first pitch in for a single.
Rogers grabbed that one on the 1-hop real quick.
Smorlakin with the single. That's his 4th hit of the game. Having a solid game himself, overshadowed by his teammate Shaw. Petrux comes on in. 1 for 3 on the day. Freshman DH. Pitches in low for a ball. 1-0 count. And we get a bit of a mound visit.
Mound visit's just going to be Obertop paying a quick walk over to Goldensoth. He'll deliver the ball to save some time, and with a runner on first, keep it safe. At the moment, first baseman Jake Marty chatting up Maryland's first base coach.
1 runner on with no outs here. Michigan looking to get out of this without surrendering any additional runs. Pitch is fired low and inside for a ball.
Zmarzak taking a moderate lead, nothing too eventful here. I think it's modest, of course, with the 9-run lead.
It's a pitch. This one's lined into center. Going to find some turf. Rounding second. Going to third base is Morlack. He's coming home, and he'll be safe, too. Ball gets away, and that's a stand-up double. Good defense played by the pitcher, but I guess it isn't too much to ask Michigan to hold their opponent to 15 runs.
Apparently not. Wow. So Maryland expands their lead to 10. Michigan's hopes of winning this game were washed away much earlier in the game, perhaps even in the bottom of the 2nd inning when Maryland put up 7. But if there was any hope coming into this inning that they might put up a miracle, it's gone now with a runner on second and no outs.
Wind up and the pitch. This one's lined just barely foul. Hits a parking garage across the street.
Keister 0 for 4 today, but batting .319 so far this season, due for a hit.
He's 0 for 4, but he has a run. He has that fielder's choice in the 7th, and he eventually scored. Who hadn't scored in the 7th? They got 5 runs.
Yeah, exactly.
Wind up and the pitch. This one's put up high into right, tracking it down to Elliott, getting under it, making the grab. Runner tagging up. He'll go to third safely. So now we got a runner 90 feet away with 1 out.
Keister moves Petrotz from second to third. This will bring up Luke Schliger. Should have said it in time with the PA announcer there, but Schliger, of course, 1 for 3 today, but a .335 average on the season. We'll see if he can drive in Petrotz from third, and of course, expand Maryland's lead to 11.
Pitch is in, high, ball 1. Looks like Golden Soft will finish out this game with no pitchers left warming up for Michigan. Line drive up the gap in between short and third, and that'll bring in another run. It is 17-6. Maryland can't stop scoring.
You think the Maryland fans are bored of it at this point? The crowd has started to thin a tad. So forget 10, it's now 11 runs ahead.
Next up, we got the number 2 hitter, Elaine, up to the plate. This is his 6th at bat. Pitches in, he's swinging for the fences, and he fouls it back. 0-1 count now.
And I think that 6th at bat is emblematic again of Michigan's issues. Just too many people get on base. There's too many opportunities to score. If you've been through the lineup 6 times in a 9-person lineup, let's assume that's 5 rotations for everyone. That's at least 45 at-bats so far this game. This would be the 47th, in fact. That's just unacceptable for a collegiate baseball program through 8 innings.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and 1 runner on. Michigan just trying to limp to the finish line of this game. A rocket sent into the outfield. It lands. Another hit given up this inning. Already 4 hits given up and 2 runs. Michigan can't get out of this game to save their lives at this point.
So Aline with a line drive single to center moves Luke Schliger to second. So 1 out, runners on first and second. Nick LaRusso 0 for 3 today steps up to bat.
Another brief mound visit with 1 out here. This 8th inning is taking quite a while, as this game has gone on for 3 hours, 8 minutes already, and we still got another 5 outs left at a minimum. I say that as if extra innings could be possible, but you never know.
I would bet thousands of dollars, which might be more than I have at the moment, on this game concluding halfway through the 9th inning.
Coming up is LaRusso. He's had a relatively quiet game. He's .320 on the season, but today he's 0 for 3 with 2 walks. Does have 2 runs and an RBI. Leg lift in the throw, change up, called strike, outside corner of the plate. 0-1 count here with 1 out and 2 runners on. I think Michigan's just wanting some mercy at this point. 17-6, swing and a miss, strike 2. He was gunning for the fences on that one. Moonshot swing.
Well, LaRusso 0 for 3 today, I think, recognizes the opportunity to beef up the stats at this point. I think Maryland's being respectful in terms of they're not stealing or anything, but get those stats up at this moment.
Pitch is low and outside for a ball. 1-2 count. In the windup, Golden Soph looking home. Here's the throw. A little bit outside. Good frame attempt from Obertop, but not enough. Count evens up at 2-2 apiece.
I'd say Obertop has been one of the most consistent players throughout this game. Not much getting away from him, and he's worked hard to keep the pitchers in check, calm them down when needed.
This one's in, and it's low to make the count full.
And, you know, with Michigan's issues, you look at the lineups, and Michigan has 2 players on here batting under 200. Jake Marty batting at 125. Maryland just doesn't have that.
This one is sent into deep left center. Is it enough? Yes, it is. Home run, 3-run shot, and Maryland can't stop hitting.
Maryland has put 20 on Michigan today. That's 20 different players tapping home plate through 8 innings. Not even a full 8. 7 and
1/3. And we've had a lot of blasts. We've had 3 from one player. Shaw, go figure, stepping up to the plate. And I think Bakic was hoping to finish the game without making a pitching change. I think that last batter kind of forced his hand a little bit.
I was just talking about how this was an opportunity for the Terps to get their stats up here. And they do so. Nick LaRusso, a 3-run shot to right field there. What a hit that was. So this will retire Avery Goldensoe for the rest of the day. The righty leaves after, well, frankly, an unsuccessful contest here. And I think essentially his goal was to just take defeat in style. However, unable to slow the Terps' roll. And Michigan has now given up 20 runs, so 20-6.
In this series, they've given up 28 runs. Right? They gave up 8 last night, right?
Gave up 8.
So in 18 innings to give up 28 runs, not a successful trip to College Park.
Not so far. And, of course, they will have a chance at vindication tomorrow. If they pull out the win, you almost forget about it. Or, well, of course, you don't forget about it. But you go home thinking, all right, 1-2, not putting the runs together 28-13.
Yeah. And 13 solid. That should be enough to win 2 games.
That really should. I gotta pull up MLB stats at some point and look at the game averages, because this is just not what we should be seeing in college baseball. And of course, it's not always even competition, especially when you're playing teams that aren't in the Power 5 and you're Michigan. But 2 Big Ten teams should be able to keep it close enough where you're not seeing a 14-run difference in the game, especially 2 good teams, because Michigan is widely considered to be a good college baseball program. Kids in high school dream of attending the University of Michigan for baseball. And then, of course, well, games like this happen. It's just not been Michigan's season, and definitely hasn't been Michigan's night.
I don't want to discredit Maryland, too. They are a phenomenal program this season. They have a university high record of most wins this season. They're going to add on to that tonight. We got Matt Shaw stepping into the plate. He has 3 home runs, looking to get the famous 4-home-run game. If there were a base runner on, he would have a chance for the home run cycle, because he had a 3-run shot in the second, he had a 1-run shot in the 4th, and he had a grand slam in the 7th. This could be a 2-run shot. It's happened, I think, twice in minor league baseball history, never in the majors.
Am I cheering him on for a 4th home run right now? That would be fun. I guess.
I wish they had a base runner to make that cool, but now since they don't have the base runner, I hope he grounds out.
All right.
If they had a base runner, I'd be rooting for him. But at this point, I think many fans just want to go home. Yeah. Fans of both teams at this point.
Down 20-6, I think it's okay to drop. Actually, I don't think it's even a bias. We just want the game to end at this point.
It is pitch black out here in Prince George's County, Maryland. Leg lift, swing and a miss. Full count now. Do you have to say University of Maryland is a beautiful campus? Good blend of like historic classic buildings and new modern ones. Very Big Ten vibe. This one is sent deep. I thought that was
Oh,
a
I know.
five.
You got so excited for a moment.
It went foul down the third base line, but it had the distance. Split second earlier, he'd be rounding the bases right now.
Beautiful campus. Great school, too.
There's a pitch fouled into the back netting. It is an incredibly beautiful campus.
Just honestly, the whole D.C. area, D.C., Virginia, it's so green and it's warm earlier. Like, I come from Rhode Island. I love Rhode Island. I'll speak about it for hours. However, it is so green here.
I love D.C. I love the amount of parks as we get a fourth ball appealing down to first base, but they give it to him. So still one out with a base runner now.
A little bit of a check swing from Shaw there. And
Yeah.
you know what, Adam? At this rate, we've only got one out. Maybe he'll be back up for another
might.
shot at that cycle.
You never know. Yeah, I'm from D.C. I could talk about it. I love the parks in the area. I do have to say the humidity in the summer is not fun. You were lucky to be here in May and not in August. We'd be sweating right now, even if it's the same temperature out.
Last night, we had quite a lot of humidity here.
Yeah. There's a reason people say they built it on a swamp because it's still so humid and hot.
Oh, there's plenty of swamps in D.C.
You know.
Now, living Capitol Hill, you're a runner. You ever run the National Mall?
I do it all the time. I do it just last week. I did it twice. It's a lot of fun.
That's a nice track.
It's a 5-mile loop from my house to the Lincoln Memorial and back. And that's straight down the mall, green space, a lot of tourists, so I got to weave. Prefer some of the more quiet parks in D.C. If you go to Rock Creek Park, that's a nice place to run. If you go to the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal, that's a great place to run to. Haynes Point in East Potomac Park is beautiful and always empty. But the mall is a lot of fun. I'm humbled to run there. Go by the Nats Park Stadium. They have a lot of new trails there.
Really?
Yeah. That whole area has been redone over the past 10 years.
That's great. I'm only in town through the weekend, but next time I come out, if I ever feel like exercising. Pop fly, that's going into shallow right, chasing after it. It'll be right fielder. Elliott has it under, and we are one out away from the Wolverines' last at-bat opportunity. Still one runner on first.
Maxwell
Costes comes on up. Has a relatively quiet night. 1 for 5 with 2 strikeouts, 2 groundouts, and a single. Potential to be the last batter of the Terrapins of the night. I don't think we've talked about it yet, but I really like Maryland's uniforms tonight. Very sleek with the red on the black. It's a little bit tough to read, but it's quite clean. And then the pinstripe pants. There's a pitch. Going to be a called strike, 1-1 count now. Costes, 14 home runs this season. Top 10 in the Big Ten. Loose ball, bounces, and we get a runner advancing as Shaw takes second base. Guess that's a wild pitch.
And I like the use of wild thing.
The person doing the music selection has been on point all evening tonight.
Most definitely.
Leg lift and the throw. This one sent high into the air. Foul. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and I think fans of both allegiances want to go home now.
I will give credit to both the Michigan and Maryland faithful. They are still out here in force tonight. Decent crowd, and it's, a perfect night for baseball.
This one is rocketed deep into center field, trying to get under it. Stewart, he grabs it, and that'll do it for the bottom of the 8th. 5 runs, 5 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left on base as Michigan has 3 final outs to erase this 14-run deficit. That's 5 runs given up in the last inning.
And then 5 in the inning before that.
Yeah.
So coming in to the 7th inning, the Terps had 10. They leave the 8th with 20. I think that's a profound way to put it.
Yeah, and I can't blame the Terrapins. If you come up to the plate this late in the season, some guys, this could be the last month they play baseball. For some seniors who might not get drafted, can't argue them to swing for the fences on every pitch.
You don't know, not at all. Frankly, as a Michigan fan, I feel absolutely no disrespect by them, and I completely respect their drive to just rack up the statistics. You know, some of these guys are really trying to get drafted in every extra stat. It's more important each year in the MLB. Every swing helps. So,
yeah, it's all the stats now. It's the eye test isn't around at all pretty much anymore. People look at the numbers, put in their analytical programs. And if an extra home run in garbage time is what is the difference between a player getting drafted and a player having to work a boring job, no disrespect to them for trying to get that hit.
No, none at all. None at all. We're having a good time here. It's great temperature. Sky is pitch black, but we are under the lights and good. There were a few concerns about some lighting issues early in the game, but we seem to have gotten through this without issue.
Yeah, 3 outs remaining. Michigan has a pinch batter, Velazquez, notable for his two-way play, both baseball and football. You don't see that often anymore, especially baseball and football combo.
No, not at all. We got some Tom Brady action going on here.
Brady, he didn't play in college, but he was drafted by the Expos out of high school. So technically the local Washington Nationals still have his rights, I believe, if he ever wants to try the MLB.
Well, you know, he seems to intend on playing professional sports as long as possible, so maybe he'll try his hand. He'll pull a Tim Tebow, in fact.
Maybe, but he also just has a recent contract that should have him set for life after he retires in 20 years.
Now, is it $37 million a year?
It is over the term of the contract, including a signing bonus. It's a 10-year deal for $375 million. So it comes out on average 37 a year, which is more than any football player has ever made in a single season.
Oh. I did hear he wanted to give a piece of it to his hometown college radio station, at least. So.
I hope so. I'm a little bit bummed. I'm happy that he's back playing, but when I heard he retired, I'm like, this is great. We'll get him on the DSR one afternoon. But now that he'll be playing, guess we can't be doing that. So
CBN's bid to have him as an analyst just couldn't compete with the $37.5 a year.
Unless anyone wants to donate to next year's Giving Blue Day, we can't hire Tom Brady. 1-1 count here. Ball's in. It's a bit high. 2-1. Velazquez. He's batting .286 this season on 42 at-bats. Here's the pitch. This one is fouled back well behind the grandstand.
For the one listener who just tuned in with us, Michigan down 20-6 in the top of the ninth, looking to pose the greatest comeback I've ever seen.
It's a full count now with no outs, so Michigan, it would have to start right about now. There it is, fouled back once again.
Turn those caps backwards, flip them inside out, whatever you need to put 14 on the board in an inning.
Full count still after that foul ball. Got Will Glock pitching for Maryland. Leg lift in the throw. Fouled back once again. Same exact spot as the last two fouls. Velazquez found his sweet spot. Unfortunately for him, it's in the parking lot across the street.
Does a good job protecting. He's waiting.
3-2. Here's the pitch. This one's lined up the middle to the brick wall. Shaw at shortstop flips it over to Costes, out number one. Michigan is down to their final two batters.
And Shaw, playing a little bit of a shift there, was in perfect position to receive the ball, and a clean routine play, all reliable out there, as I've dubbed him.
Got another pinch hitter up, Buckley for Michigan.
So now it's time to see if the Wolverines can put up 14 with only 2 outs.
Yeah. Making the comeback even more compelling.
Of course, we'll have a pinch hitter here, Casey Buckley, in for Joe Stewart. It looks like the Wolverines will give the roster depth some opportunity.
Yeah, on deck they have number 50. Does it say who 50 is on that lineup?
Oh, so 50 was who I just said. The name just changed there, actually. Trevor Kalinsky at the plate at the moment. That's an error on my part.
No, I think it was in the system incorrectly, too. No worries. So Kalinsky's up, and then Casey's on deck. One-one. Here's a pitch, fouled back into the netting. And this crowd is really emptied out. Only about 150 or so people left.
Nice cut there from Kalinsky.
For those tuning in, for the couple of listeners, tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. first pitch. As Michigan looks to redeem this series. Pitch is in. That's got to be a ball, 2-2. Just barely missed. We got the game tomorrow, and we got the Tuesday game, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, all on WCBN. And that might be it for the WCBN school year coverage, depending on where softball plays and if baseball plays. But we'll keep you guys updated if you follow us on Twitter. We're already planning for our fall programming lineup. It's going to be a lot of interesting stuff planned. We got some football ideas, some soccer, some volleyball. Pitches in, strike 3, swing and a miss. Michigan down to its last batter.
I am so pumped for our fall lineup we are going to have.
And you're going to lead our hockey. We got some good ideas for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Michigan coming off probably one of the best hockey seasons of the decade for them. Falling really short, but having a ton of talent. This is going to be one of the years where in 20 years people look back on. It's like, how did this team have so many stacked players?
Oh, absolutely.
And then how did they not win the Frozen Four with those many stacked players?
I think people are already looking back just on a month ago and thinking that. It was actually just about a month and a week ago right now.
Yeah, it was the 7th of April. So pitches in for a strike. 0-1 count here for Buckley. Pitches in. Ball inside. 1-1 now. People are packing up now. Pitches in, and it's fouled back into the netting. Will Glock is great at getting players to nibble at it, but not put it in play. Just this inning when he's pitched, probably 7 or 8 fouled back into the netting at the same exact spot. 1-2 count, 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Michigan trailing by 14. This could be it. There's a pitch, fouled off.
Not quite. Fans will have to restart their chant here.
Get the Jaws theme music up and running.
Yeah.
People are cheering as we have Buckley stepping out of the plate for their moment. Getting back in, taking some cuts. People getting loud. Leg lift and the throw. High and outside. Count goes to 2-2.
Will Glock not treating this crowd to the quick wrap-up after he got to 2 strikes there.
Yeah. Teasing them. Get some crowd cheering once again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here's a pitch, and that's high. It's going to be full.
So full count. If Buckley walks, we'll have Jack Van Remortel, who we've seen at first before, come on deck here. He's on deck right now, excuse me. Step up to the plate. But full count. 2 outs here in the top of the 9th.
Leg lift and the throw. And that'll be strike 3 looking. That is it. Michigan has lost 20-6 as they lose the series after yesterday's loss in this devastating one. We'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. I don't know what else we could add, but it's It's been a long evening. Thank you for sharing some of it with us here at WCBN Sports. From Owen Crain and Adam Bressler, this has been a good game. Have a good night and go blue.